Chapter 65. Inside the martial hall after breaking through to the flesh embryo realm, Su Tang's aura was completely different from before. It was as if he had suddenly become 5 years younger. Fong, what did you get so many elixirs? Su Fong naturally would not tell him about the dangers he had experienced outside. I got them by chance in a ruin. Uncle, I might not come back often in the future, so I have to leave some cultivation resources for everyone. In particular, I have to build a secret room. I plan to use spirit stones to build a secret room for cultivation. Spirit stones have an endless supply of spiritual power. If everyone absorbs the spiritual power to cultivate, their cultivation will improve step by step. Secret room. Su Tang led Su Fong through another secret room. In front of them was the corridor of the martial hall's backyard. There was a stone pavilion there. Su Tang turned the lion head beside the stone pavilion, and the stone pavilion moved to the right, revealing a hole in the ground. After the big incident last time, Uncle secretly built a secret passage that can leave Tianzong City. At the same time, I also built some underground secret rooms for hiding and resting. Fong, do you think this is suitable? Sure. The two immediately entered the hole. The secret passage could only allow 2 people to pass through side by side. The height was less than 2 meters. If it was only one person, they could still run. A secret room was built some distance away from the secret passage. It could accommodate more than 10 people. Some of the secret rooms stored weapons and jewels. Uncle, this is an empty bag. In the future, you can put everything in it and carry it with you. Or you can hide it somewhere in the secret passage that only you know. After choosing a secret room, Su Fong took out some jewels and spirit stones and inlaid them on the walls and floor. He secretly asked Xian Huang for advice on formations. The way of setting up a formation was not something that could be mastered overnight. Xian Huang taught Su Fong some simple methods to inlay the spirit stones one by one in the secret chamber. It cost about more than 100 spirit stones, which was simply a large sum of money. In the Heavenly Gate Prefecture, even the masters of the secret path realm would find it difficult to take out more than 100 spirit stones. Of course, some of these spirit stones were taken from Six Feng's storage bag. Not to mention Six Feng, there was only a flying sword, dozens of spirit stones, and a channel activating pill in the bag. He did not know where they came from. In the end, they all benefited the great family Su. Su Tang was in a daze for a long time. Extravagant, it was simply too extravagant. He had never even touched a single spirit stone in his entire life. But now there were more than 100 spirit stones embedded in the secret chamber. He was extremely excited. What a strong spiritual energy. The ancestors of the family Su are watching from the heavens. My family Su has finally produced a genius who can change the future. Hua hua hua, Su Tang patted his empty bag, and he saw many meridian activating pills, flying swords, illusion cloud rope, and brute force bow floating in midair. Su Tang's legs turned soft when he saw them. To Su Tang, any one of them was an unimaginable existence. But now, there were so many floating in front of him. Uncle, Su Fong said, I got these by accident. 10 flying swords, 50 chi channel activating pills, 1 Huan Yun rope, plus this spiritual bow, as well as several kinds of spells. Uncle put them all into an empty bag. Inside the bag, there are quite a lot of gold, silver, and jewelry. All right, I'll collect them all. Following Su Fong's instructions, Su Tang quickly fused with the empty pouch. He could also activate it, and the various treasures were sucked into the pouch. Su Tang couldn't believe it. With these treasures, it was enough to establish an empire. Uncle, don't ever take out any artifact here, and use it unless you are in danger of extermination. Everyone must also pay attention to concealment when cultivating and fusing artifacts. If the Liu clan finds out, my Su clan will be in great danger again. Fong, it will take her leave now. Fong, be careful. The cultivation world is full of dangers. Uncle, stay behind and familiarize yourself with the empty pouch. Fong, it will be careful. After bidding farewell to Su Tang and leaving the secret passage, Su Fong immediately left Tianzong City. Purple Chi Mountain back then When Su Fang's physical body reached the great perfection stage, he had to face the heaven-defying tribulation in the valley. The wooden shed that was built in the past had already collapsed. Su Fang came to grass and sat down. Although I have controlled Dao Wuliang, his cultivation level is too terrifying. He is an exceptional big goblin. I have to find a way to completely imprison him. Otherwise, he will definitely eat me if he betrays me someday. With this thought, he immediately checked the empty pouch. Now, there are only 3 7-stars life-seeking swords, the Crystal Soul Sword, and more than 20 flying swords left. In addition to the Spiritual Concealment Ring and the Illusion Cloud Rope, Primordial Chaos Sages couldn't activate them at will. Only the Xianwang 6 Paths Pagoda was left. Su Fang and Xianwang began to communicate, asking for advice on how to suppress Dao Wuliang. After a while, Xianwang had an idea. Master, Dao Wuliang is a fox demon. Fox demons cultivate with resentment, murderous aura, evil aura, and ferocious aura. They are an extremely powerful existence among the demon race. Fortunately, Master used the blood seal on his soul. However, the blood seal is still of a very low level. Fortunately, Master extracted a part of the fox demon's soul. I still don't know what your ability is. Su Fang relaxed a lot. Xuanwang's ability is to suppress demons. Is that so? Of course. When Xianwang was refined by Xian, he didn't have a soul. I don't know what happened to his body that caused it to be damaged, but all kinds of restrictions still exist in Xuanwang's body. In this mortal world, even in a damaged state, he can still suppress most demons. Master, Xuanwang's ability is great. Xianwang was as proud as a child. Su Fang was also curious. Then tell me about it. There are 6 layers in Xuanwang's body, which are specially used to suppress demons. Each layer can suppress 100,000 demons. Each layer also needs a senior commander and 10 junior commanders. The senior and junior commanders can control the demons in each layer. For example, Dao Wuliang, Master can suck him into the pagoda and place him on the first layer as a junior commander or even a senior commander. Xianwang said with relish. Since Xianwang is suppressing so many demons, they will cultivate together in the pagoda, and Master can directly absorb their power and fuse it with his body to display his divine ability. Master, think about it. If 100,000 demons work together to help Master, what level would Master's divine ability reach? Xuanwang's blood surged. Mysterious. It's really mysterious. Xianwang, you really are a treasure. If I capture 600,000 demons and use their power to fight with the enemy, wouldn't I be invincible? It's good that Master understands. This is Xuanwang's ability, but it can only suppress a few demons at present. Otherwise, Xianwang won't be able to bear it. Then you first suppress the soul of that old fox Dao Wuliang. After a while, if he doesn't behave, I'll suck him into the pagoda. Master, Xianwang wants to ask you, the magic treasure spirit vein in your body has formed a physical space. Can Xianwang begin to fuse with the spirit vein? Once it fuses, Xianwang may become Master's natal magic treasure. Should Xianwang continue to fuse with the spirit vein? Become a natal magic treasure. This was a problem, a big problem, and it was difficult for him to know the pros and cons at present. 10 years is too long. Seize every moment. After a moment of silence, this sentence suddenly flashed in Su Fang's mind. No one can predict the future. I can only grasp the present. Even if I will encounter an even better magic treasure, when will that be? The primordial chaos saint realm is a supreme magic treasure, but I only possess the yang side. I must fuse the 2 mirrors together for it to be a matchless treasure. For this reason, using it as a natal magic treasure is out of reach. Rather than this, it would be better to possess a natal magic treasure as soon as possible. In my future path of cultivation, there's a guarantee that I can turn danger into safety. Thinking of this, Su Fang agreed to let Xianwang fuse with the magic treasure spirit vein in his hand. After resting for several days, Su Fang then flew towards the star dual sand plains. Half a month later, the starred dual sand plains at the border between the desert and forest, a whirlpool rolled up in the yellow sand. The Shadawa spirit stuck out its head, opened its mouth, and spat out. Su Fong leapt out from within. Whoosh! Below the forest, a green-clothed Dao Wuliang flew over. The instant he saw Su Fong, his eyes were filled with resentment. Su Fong came to the forest and met with the yellow-browed crimson fox. Dao Wuliang, other than the 1,000-year fire snake fruit, what other treasures are there that even the Shadawa spirit knows there is a great treasure below the volcano? Dao Wuliang was neither cold nor hot. The 1,000-year fire snake fruit's wonders, you have already experienced it, and rumor has it that there is a fire-type treasure below the volcano. At the very least, it is an artifact. If it is not low-grade, then it is middle-grade. It is also possible that it is a high-grade artifact. The black fire monster is so powerful, yet it has not obtained that treasure. No matter how powerful the black fire monster is, its strength is only slightly above the transcendent realm. To subdue a powerful artifact, it is not too easy. You must know that the true body of the magic treasure requires entering the depths of the volcano to be certain. At that time, I will draw out the black fire monster. You take the chance to use that demon revealing mirror to eliminate it. A demon was a demon, and it was the most cunning of fox demons. From Dao Wuliang's bones to his face, he emitted an unsettling, cunning demonic chi. Demon revealing mirror. Su Fong's demon revealing mirror sounded much better than the mixed Yuan divine realm. At least, that was the ability of the mixed Yuan divine realm. Okay, you will have to go down the volcano to get the treasure. With my cultivation, I will die if I go down, Su Fong agreed. Dao Wuliang immediately activated a flying sword and carried Su Fong to the Red Palm volcano. Just a few minutes later, a huge burning palm formed a panoramic view of the mountain range. It was the Red Palm volcano. The flying sword flew directly to the mouth of the volcano. When it arrived above the mouth of the volcano, Su Fong was a little scared. The burning lava below was so hot that even a Dharma Insight realm or Transcendent realm cultivator would become fuel if they fell in, let alone a fifth-layer secret passage cultivator like him. Buzz the flying sword entered the mouth of the volcano and went down dozens of feet. It happened to be the place where he had obtained the fire snake fruit last time. Dao Wuliang pointed at the fire snake tree. After subduing the black fire monster, take this fire snake tree and trade it. It is worth a mid-grade artifact. Really? A mid-grade artifact? That was 10,000 times more powerful than a spiritual treasure. Who would have thought that a fire snake tree would be worth so much? Su Fong also felt that Dao Wuliang was indeed fickle and cunning. If he compared himself to Dao Wuliang, he would be no match for him. After that, Dao Wuliang told Su Fong to hide here and wait for an opportunity to sneak attack the black fire monster. He stepped on the flying sword and disappeared into the depths of the volcano. Not only was the wait a long time, but it was also a little uneasy. If Dao Wuliang wanted to play any tricks, he could use the Xianwang Six Paths Pagoda to suppress him. But if he did, Su Fong would be able to fight against a large number of monsters here. So he was still worried that Dao Wuliang would bite the scales and fight to the death. Rumble. Suddenly, a terrifying tremor came from the depths of the volcano. Su Fong immediately hid behind a rock. Large amounts of lava suddenly spewed out. Everywhere was filled with lava. Su Fong used his full circle ability to pay attention to the movements below the volcano. Dao Wuliang did not seem to be playing any tricks. He was locked in a fierce battle with the black fire monster. They were both peerless big goblin. King. A large number of monsters appeared in the caves around the mouth of the volcano. They were all the black fire monster subordinates. Su Fong suddenly thought of the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. Xianhuang, how about we take these monsters away? Xianhuang said. They're the lowest level of ferocious beasts. Let alone demons. They can't even be considered spirits. Let's wait until we encounter a fox demon or a demon of the same level. A king-grade artifact was really capricious. It did not even care about these ferocious beasts. Chapter 66. Roar. There were hundreds of ferocious beasts, some as strong as Earth Demon Koan. They surrounded the caves and roared at the volcano. Su Fong stared at the fire snake tree. Once it bloomed, he would not let go of the fire snake fruit. Waves of turbulence came from the bottom of the volcano. The two monsters had fought for many rounds. Even the lava seemed to have stopped. Buzz. The baleful aura around the fire snake tree shook slightly. Immediately, a flower bud on the fire snake tree suddenly bloomed. The fire snake fruit was also growing at an astonishing speed. Whoosh! Su Fong flashed and arrived in front of the fire snake tree. Indeed, there was a layer of baleful aura around the fire snake tree. When this aura came into contact with the yang qi in Su Fong's body, it seemed to recognize the 9 yang qi. Therefore, Su Fongdao was delighted. He used the illusion cloud rope to wrap around the fire snake fruit that had just ripened. At the same time, the black fire monster was furious under the volcano. Damn it, you despicable fox demon. You actually have helpers to steal this king's fire snake fruit. Dao Wuyong laughed. Haha, you black snake demon. You can't possibly take all the treasures in this volcano as your own. You are too vicious. Whoosh, whoosh. A black wind suddenly rose from the bottom of the volcano like a mushroom cloud. A half-human, half-demon monster released killing intent as it stared at the fire snake tree and Su Fong. It opened its mouth and spat out a wave of demonic fire toward Su Fong. Su Fong quickly dodged and hid behind a rock wall. He only felt a sudden burst of fire. It seemed to have burned a hole in the rock wall. The black fire monster ordered, "Capture this human." At the same time, he turned into a black wind and entered the cave where Su Fong was. He protected in front of the fire snake tree, but he did not see Su Fong's shadow. Invisible human. You think you can avoid this king's eyes like this? This king will burn you to death. Puff, puff. Large amounts of flames entered the cave. Even some of the cracks in the cave had flames that were more than 10 feet high. Immediately, stones gradually fell. Where is Dao Wuyong? Su Fong activated the spirit concealment ring, gritted his teeth, and stuck close to the wall. He felt that his eyebrows were about to be burned off. Not only that, from the other end of the cave, a crazy monster beast rushed in. This time, there was no door to heaven. If this goes on, I'll definitely be burned to death. That despicable Dao Wuyong and the black fire monster. It was as if they were racing against the Grim Reaper. They felt as if they were going to be burned to death at any moment. Whoosh, whoosh. Human, where are you hiding? This king will not let you off too easily. Hand over this king's fire snake fruit. Suddenly, the shadow of a snake rolled out from the fire. It turned out that the black fire monster had personally entered the burning cave to drag Su Fong out. At the moment of life and death, the voice of Origin Spirit Black Yellow appeared in his mind. Master, quickly let Black Yellow release this body to protect you. Su Fongdao was overjoyed, but she forgot about the King Great artifact. You're damaged. If you summon it, won't you be attacked by the black fire monsters? Although the black fire monster is strong, it is still too weak in front of Mysterious Yellow. Even if its body is damaged, it can't do anything to Master. All right. With no other choice, she immediately activated her right arm. Hula, a shadow of a gold and silver pagoda, flashed out from Su Fong's right arm. The pagoda suddenly released a spiritual light and then covered Su Fong in it. For more than 10 feet tall, it instantly became 3 feet tall. The black fire monster rushed out from the fire wave. It noticed the abnormality and immediately wrapped its monster body around the flames. Why is there an aura released by an artifact? Yes, it locked onto the Xianhuang 6 Paths pagoda that was floating in the flames. The black fire monster said with fear, "This is a damaged King Great artifact." The person disappeared, and only the pagoda was left. The black fire monster was so shocked that it exuded cold air all over its body. It shouted embarrassedly, "You are a human at the 5th layer of the secret passage, but you can fuse with a King Great artifact and activate it. It seems that you're also a capable person. But to come to this king's dojo to steal treasures, You are as despicable and shameless as that fox demon." In the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda, Su Fong felt that he had entered a void space full of spiritual energy. However, there was a window in front of him, and he just happened to see the black fire monster floating in front of him. Seeing it blowing its beard and glaring at him, Su Fong didn't know why, but 3 words, it was very satisfying. "If it wasn't for the spirit vein left behind by my big family Su ancestors, which allowed me to fuse with the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda, I might have really died here this time." However, staring at the evil demonic aura of the black fire monster, he felt a chill down his spine. "Master, this snake spirit can't shake Mysterious Yellow." The origin spirit Mysterious Yellow gave him another boost of confidence. "Humph, you useless pagoda. This king will destroy you." The black fire monster made its move. First, it released its demonic aura. After forming a seal, it controlled all the flames to envelop the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. It wanted to roast Su Fong, who was hiding in the pagoda, alive into a human jerky. The black fire monster then moved more rocks and ordered his demon beast to surround the pagoda and throw the rocks at the black-yellow six-path pagoda. Su Fong subconsciously took a few steps back. However, after seeing that the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda didn't do anything after the rocks hit it, he finally calmed down. "Smash! Smash this thing to pieces!" The demonic beast continued to attack the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. The black fire monster's body curled up and flew out of the cave. "Fox Demon, this king has spent thousands of years to subdue this treasure, but he still couldn't subdue it. Can you do it?" The black fire monster began to spiral down from the flames. Even the scorching heat of the volcano didn't affect it at all. After a few breaths, a huge flaming cauldron appeared in front of the black fire monster. Within that sea of lava, a 30-meter-tall fox demon was controlling the lava to spread around. Yellow-browed scarlet fox, the black fire monster, smiled. "Fox demon, that's a high-grade fire-type enchanted item. With your cultivation, you won't be able to subdue it. Why don't we work together?" "Are we close?" asked Dao Wuyong coldly. "No. If you're not close, why would I work with you? This is an ownerless treasure. Black fire monster, if you had fused with it, I wouldn't have any ideas about it. But since you haven't fused with it, I'm sorry, but the treasure will belong to whoever can subdue it." "You still want to fight for the treasure? Your human companion has already been killed by me. It's good that you've killed him. How should I thank you? Just take this treasure. As for the fire-type spirit stones, I don't want them." "You damned fox demon." The black fire monster was also scheming against Dao Wuyong. Seeing that he couldn't persuade Dao Wuyong, he revealed his true form. He naturally wouldn't be polite to a monster like Dao Wuyong, who had barged into his Dao sect and wanted to steal his treasure. Whoosh! The black fire monster formed a hand seal, and its snake-like body lashed out at Dao Wuyong like a supreme enchanted item. If it really hit, Dao Wuyong would be injured. "Rise!" Dao Wuyong had a magical treasure in front of his chest that shot out a beam of demonic light into the bottom of the magma ocean. Below the magma ocean were pieces of fire-colored spirit stones. These were supreme treasures that surpassed ordinary spirit stones. And within that demonic light, there was a red armor that was releasing a shocking amount of spirit stones. It forcefully grabbed the armor. Boom! The black fire monster's tail viciously slammed into Dao Wuyong, causing some of his red fur to fall off. Dao Wuyong looked behind him, raging. "Snake demon, I won't forgive you. I won't forgive you. I'll take your life while you're sick." The black fire monster opened its mouth, and a poisonous flame burned inside. This is the snake venom that this king refined for many years. So what if you're strong? This snake venom is innate to this king. You're dead. With a puff, the black fire monster spat the black poisonous flame in its mouth at Dao Wuyong. "Rise!" At this critical moment, Dao Wuyong suddenly turned around. There was a talisman in front of his chest. It was unknown how powerful that talisman was. The demonic light it released just happened to cover the red armor. As Dao Wuyong turned around, the demonic light controlled the armor to block the black flame. The black fire monster was shocked. How? How is this possible? Where did you come from? This talisman has a power that doesn't belong to the mortal world. So the reason you were so confident in taking this treasure was because of this talisman. My fox race is the strongest race of the demon race. Your snake race might be strong, but is there anyone who can refine this kind of talisman? Black fire monster, I'll take this treasure. You saw the talisman, so don't force me to kill you. Compared to humans, we're still of the same race. Dao Wuyong put away his demon body and turned back into an azure-robed man. The black fire monster, was the king of this mountain. Even the Tianmen province's lord wouldn't have any ideas about him. But today, he was taken out in his own territory. In any case, you won't be able to take this treasure. In fact, this treasure is very useful to my fox race. Otherwise, I wouldn't have used this talisman's power to suppress this treasure. Remember this. This king will take this treasure back from you sooner or later. Once this king cultivates a peerless divine ability, he will definitely go to the southern border's fox race to find you. You won't be seeing me off. Dao Wuyong laughed coldly and then flew into the sky above the flames. My jewels, I still need you to feed the flame snake tree. The black fire monster took advantage of the large amount of fire-colored spirit stones that appeared at the bottom and spat out demonic flames, absorbing them into his body. That sly black fire monster. He moved the flame snake tree away. At this time, Dao Wuyong arrived outside the cave. Unable to find the flame snake tree, he immediately looked unwilling. He then stared at the cave. It's good that kid is dead, but he still has 2 treasures on him. The Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda, especially that ancient mirror. It's the bane of my demon race. If I can take that ancient mirror, won't my demon race unify the entire demon race? He thought about the Origin's sacred realm and the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda and flew into the cave. Xianhuang. Inside the empty, charred cave, Dao Wuyong had just entered when Su Fong suddenly appeared. With a wave of his hand, Su Fong's 5 fingers pressed down on Dao Wuyong. Dao Wuyong's body trembled. He stared viciously at Su Fong. Your cultivation is too weak. Your blood seal can't kill me. In an instant, Dao Wuyong turned and was about to fly away. With a rumble, the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda enlarged from a beam of spiritual light and suppressed Dao Wuyong. Seeing the 6 Paths Pagoda, Dao Wuyong was so frightened that he activated his demon chi. How can you use a royal grade artifact? Break. He formed another seal. A rune flashed in front of his chest. He was going to use runes to resist the 6 Paths Pagoda. However, his aura strangely disappeared. Especially when the 6 Paths Pagoda descended, his aura completely disappeared. Instead, a shadow similar to Dao Wuyong appeared in the 6 Paths Pagoda. So you've given my soul to the artifact. Dao Wuyong finally understood what was going on. Whoosh! The Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda restrained Dao Wuyong's mana and soul. He couldn't use any skills or runes. He could only watch as the 6 Paths Pagoda sucked him into the 6 Paths Pagoda. Kid, let me out. Let me out. The Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda shrank to the size of a palm and floated in the air. Dao Wuyong's angry and struggling voice could be heard from inside. A royal grade artifact was not something he could touch. Chapter 67. The fox demon was suppressed by that brat. Amidst the raging flames, a wisp of black smoke followed the flames and stared at the scene in the cave. The pair of demonic eyes were so frightened that they quickly escaped into the depths of the volcano. In the cave, Su Fong spread out his right hand slightly. You old fox. Fortunately, I was on guard against you. Otherwise, I would not have fallen into your trap. The Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda shrunk to the size of a foot and slowly landed on his palm. Since you suppressed me, I will not work for you. Dao Wuyong seemed to be able to see Su Fong through the window of the pagoda. Stay here first. After a while, I will take care of you. You old fox are cunning, but I am even more cunning than you. His consciousness flashed towards the Xianhuang primordial spirit. With a buzz, the Xianwang six-path pagoda immediately entered his right arm. Ayo. Just as he was about to leave the cave, there were many demonic beasts blocking the way out. They also noticed Su Fong and charged towards Su Fong. The black fire demon had already become a pickled eggplant. What about these little ones? Wu Yimeng, I am not mighty. I gave you a ladder, but you still want to climb up the roof. 7 stars, life-chasing sword. Su Fong suddenly waved his hand and slapped his empty bag. With 3 clangs, 3 7 stars life-chasing swords appeared from the bag. Although they were not Dharma artifacts, they were peerless Dharma artifacts that had reached the secret path realm and most of the spirit treasures. They might not be able to deal with the black fire demon, but it should not be a problem for them to deal with these ordinary demonic beasts. Ultimate Phantom Sword Technique. He formed a hand seal, and waves of spirit energy pushed the 3 7 stars life-chasing swords. Lang, the 3 flying swords flew out instantly, and the sword Chi collided with the surrounding rocks. Instantly, there was the sound of metal clashing. Chi, the Dharma, cave, realm Lingbao octopus displayed its extraordinary strength. Although Su Fong was already sweating and controlling the 3 powerful flying swords was already beyond his realm, he couldn't care less. He had to fight his way out. The 7 stars life-chasing swords were unstoppable as the flying swords slashed at the monster beasts. Of course, these monster beasts could recognize the flying swords. They spewed out all kinds of demonic wind and demonic chi to defend against the flying swords. However, the quality of the flying swords was too high, and the power was too strong. The monster beasts at the front were bleeding profusely, and the monster beasts at the back did not dare to charge forward. Primordial Chaos Saint. In just a short while, the energy consumption in his body was too shocking. He quickly took out the demon-revealing mirror and aimed it at one of the demonic beasts. This was a peerless treasure. Once the demonic beast was shrouded in red light, it didn't even have the chance to struggle. Moreover, it was a low-level demonic beast. In addition, Su Fong activated the ancient mirror. With a puff, the ancient mirror burned and sucked the demonic beast into the mirror, condensing another energy bead. After swallowing the bead, a torrential yang aura swept through his body. This was great. He had energy again. Su Fong advanced step by step, suppressing dozens of demonic beasts. With his strength alone, he fought against a group of demonic beasts under Black Fire Monster. The 7 stars life-chasing sword's power was too shocking. Even if Su Fong could only activate the sword's sharpness, it was not something that ordinary demonic beasts could withstand. If one sword could not kill a demonic beast, after countless sword attacks, the demonic beast would be dismembered. During this process, Su Fong activated the Primordial Chaos Saint and condensed energy beads. As he replenished his energy, he controlled the flying swords. Unknowingly, Su Fong felt a thrill brought about by the killing intent. For some reason, the more he killed, the more motivated he became. He could not stop at all. Those who block my path die. In one breath, Su Fong released the 22 flying swords that he had previously fused. Immediately, in the long and narrow cave, the flying swords revolved around Su Fong and attacked the demonic beasts in turn. The demonic beasts had never seen so many flying swords. In addition, Su Fong had already killed more than a dozen demonic beasts and injured more than half of them. The demonic beasts had long since lost their will to fight. At this time, they were finally defeated one after another. Only when Su Fong finally killed his way out of the volcano and arrived at the cave's exit did he wave the Primordial Chaos Saint and trap a fleeing demon beast, did he absorb all of the flying swords into his bag. Chi after several breaths of cultivation, the demon beast became an energy bead. Su Fong carried an intense killing intent. He consumed the bead and strode majestically, confidently walking down the volcano, killing to my heart's content. An hour later, starred dual sandplains. The Shadawa goblins carried Su Fong into the depths of the desert, arriving at a small ruined town. Su Fong sat cross-legged took out a channel activation pill, and swallowed it. He then faced the primordial chaos saint towards the two suns in the sky, absorbing the yang qi while recovering his strength. Canopy a mere day later, a large amount of energy burst out from Su Fang's body. Large amounts of placenta particles seeped out from his pores, and the top of Su Fang's head began to emit bursts of white smoke. At this time, he was currently advancing from the 5th layer to the 6th layer, and the power of the advancement flowed through his body, attacking his brain with an unstoppable momentum. This was equivalent to attacking the divine aperture, bringing magic power. It turns out that through battle, using large amounts of energy, it can also invisibly raise the spiritual power of the whole body, giving rise to a qualitative change. Arriving at the 6th layer of the secret passage, the first thing he sensed was clear magic power. It was still cloud silk, but the quantity was somewhat greater. However, compared to the spiritual power in his Qi Si, this bit of magic power was too insignificant. It was like a stream, the difference between a vast ocean. After his physical body went through a round of advancement and purification, it returned to normal within 5 days. Su Fang swallowed another channel unblocking pill and took out a 3rd fire serpent fruit. In addition, he was constantly absorbing the yang qi in the primordial chaos sacred realm. He estimated that he would be able to advance from the 6th level to the 7th level in less than a month. Others needed a year or even several years, but he only needed a month. Under the blazing sun, Su Fang suddenly opened his eyes and punched the ground. Xian Huang, I have to teach the yellow-browed crimson fox a lesson. This time, the yellow-browed crimson fox had plotted against him, and he had almost lost his life. This old fox was really dishonest. Even after being suppressed, he still dared to play tricks. Xian Huang's Yuan spirit said, Master, let Xian Huang deal with him. No, this time I want him to suffer a fate worse than death. Su Fang immediately grabbed the primordial chaos saint, and the Yuan spirit trembled. Master, what is the quality of that magic treasure? It's too powerful. I don't know, but it's very powerful. Release the old fox. Yes. Wang. His right arm suddenly released a purple light, and the phantom of a pagoda flashed. The pagoda's door opened, and a man in green was shot out from the size of a sesame seed, his body growing larger. Dao Wuliang, who had just appeared, thought that he had escaped and welcomed spring, but before he landed, a familiar and terrifying red light instantly wrapped around him. He stopped moving. Dao Wuliang was once again frozen in the red light, trembling as he stared at the source of the red light. His entire face began to distort. Dishonest Dao Wuliang, you old fox, this time you wanted to use the black flame monster to kill me. You're too despicable. Su Fang held the demon revealing mirror, curling his lips and shouting angrily. Dao Wuliang trembled, but he still hardened himself. I'm cunning, but you're not bad either. If you weren't cunning, you would have fallen into my trap long ago. Humans have slaughtered my demon race, but why can't my demon race slaughter you humans? Humans are even more shameless than my demon race. You're ruthless, but today I'm even more ruthless than you. I've given you several chances, but you're still so cunning. Today, even if I don't kill you, I'll peel off a layer of your skin. Let's see if you're stronger, or if I'm more domineering. The miraculous purifying power of the origin divine realm was probably expelling the impurities in Dao Wuliang's body again, forcibly shrinking his bones, meridians, and muscles. It was equivalent to squeezing his body alive. Dao Wuliang howled in pain, and his human form immediately turned into a yellow-browed crimson fox. His body gradually elongated, and he let out a series of loud farts. He was about to lose control of his bladder, and then he would be burned to death by the 9 suns' true fire. Su Fang said numbly, Dao Wuliang, I don't care what kind of yellow-browed crimson fox you are. Since you're in my hands, I'll kill you. After I kill you, I'll turn you into an energy bead, haha. It had only been 3 years since he stepped into Tianmen province. These 3 years were no doubt like 30 years. He had experienced several crises and escaped death several times. The current Su Fong was no longer the disciple in Tianmen province who was at the mercy of others. The yellow-browed crimson fox begged for mercy. "Master, I won't do it again. Let me go." "All right, I can catch you whenever I'm in the mood. I'll use this demon-revealing mirror to look at you when I'm free." Su Fong immediately released 9 Sun's true qi to cover the mirror. At the same time, his right arm shot out a purple light, and the yellow-browed crimson fox was sucked back into the pagoda. Buzz! He opened his right palm, and the Xianhuang 6 Paths pagoda floated in his palm. Su Fong shouted at the pagoda, "Old fox, take out some channel unlocking pills." Yes, it seemed that Dao Wuyang was really going to be a turtle this time. A spiritual light flew out from the window on the first floor. In an instant, hundreds of channel unlocking pills appeared in front of Su Fong. Su Fong asked again, "How many pills, Dharma treasures, and Dharma spells do you have?" "Tens of thousands of different pills, thousands of Dharma treasures, hundreds of Dharma spells, and only a few Dharma spells." "What treasure did you get from the Red Palm volcano?" "A superior grade Dharma treasure armor. It's a fire elemental Dharma treasure. If an expert with a fire elemental spirit root fuses with it, it'll be very powerful. You should be so obedient. Stay in the Xianhuang 6 Paths pagoda for now. I'll see how you perform. If you don't behave, I'll trap you inside for the rest of your life. If I have nothing to do, I'll take you out and look at you in the mirror. Anyway, I have plenty of time." Dao Wuyang, this old fox, was indeed a rich man. Tens of thousands of immortal pills and thousands of Dharma treasures. If he wasn't a rich man, what was he? He even had a superior grade, fire elemental Dharma treasure armor. In the following days, whenever Su Fong didn't understand something, he would ask Dao Wuyang. This old fox didn't dare to be arrogant. He could only treat Su Fong with respect. Bang! Half a month passed. Su Fong, who was sitting cross-legged under the scorching sun, was absorbing the yang qi from the primordial chaos sacred realm. In the end, his body suddenly exploded with energy. The 7th level of the secret passage. Suddenly, Su Fong opened his eyes with surprise. At this time, a large amount of impurities were pouring out of his body. He felt that his bones and meridians were breaking. With his energy reserve as the center, all the energy began to flow to his brain. Whoosh! His brain was empty and he felt dizzy. The energy kept flowing into a mysterious space deep inside his brain, the divine aperture. This was the first time Su Fong felt the existence of the divine aperture. The secret passage realm was to cultivate the divine aperture, Dharma power, and body. The divine aperture was the most important. The stronger and sturdier the divine aperture was, the more Dharma power he could store after entering the Dharma insight realm. And the stronger the Dharma power, the more powerful the divine powers he could use. The combination of the fire serpent fruit, yang qi, and the meridian activating pill allowed me to reach the 7th level of the secret passage. This time, I got another fire serpent fruit, so I'm not far from reaching the Dharma insight realm. When I enter the Dharma insight realm, I'll be able to use Dharma power and control flying swords. By then, I'll be able to fly in the air. Su Fong laughed. Soon, he would be able to enter the Dharma insight realm. Once he could control flying swords and use Dharma treasures. By then, he would be able to become an expert like Qiu Lungji, Qi Xin Shui, and Yu Junki. In a scorching desert, 2 suns shone down sunlight that could burn everything. To Su Fong, the stronger the sun, the more yang qi he could absorb. Chapter 68. Magic power, I want more magic power. Su Fong had this stubborn thought in his mind. He was like a Tao Tai in the desert city, absorbing yang qi from the ancient mirror, devouring the energy of the channel relaxation pill and the fire serpent fruit. He could also set up a spirit stone formation, but he did not waste any spirit stones. Wasting spirit stones, he already had enough power for cultivation. If he still used spirit stones, his body would not be able to absorb and control it. It would be a waste. Keeping spirit stones would be of great use in the future. Master, it might not be the right time for you to master formations. It's best if you reach the Dharma whole realm. Profound formations need to be comprehended and controlled. Is that so? I wish I could master alchemy, setting up formations, drawing talismans, and divine arts. Cultivation has to be done step by step. If you want to cultivate, you must at least reach the transcendent realm. At that time, your magic power will be strong, and you'll have the energy to do anything. There was once a senior who warned me not to casually cultivate divine abilities. Why is that? Master, only a true human powerhouse can understand this. Once a divine art is cultivated, it will form a divine mark in the golden core. After learning a divine art and reaching great completion, it will form a divine mark in the golden core. The divine mark will never disappear. The more profound the divine art, the stronger the divine mark. This is why you can't cultivate divine arts casually. Only the Almighty, standing at the peak of the human race, knows this. Then when I reach the transcendent realm, I can't cultivate divine arts casually. You can, but try to cultivate less divine arts and control more magic treasures. The golden core and divine mark will have a great impact on cultivators. When Master reaches that realm, you will know. Xian Huang is just a magic treasure's original soul. It doesn't have a thorough understanding of human cultivation. Xian Huang and Su Fang communicated in the depths of his mind. Tianmin Province 3 months later, in the Flying Feather Sect's military council hall. Su Fang, after sorting out this information, you can enter the inner space to cultivate. There is enough spirit power inside, and you could train with big goblin beasts. Half a month after returning to the military council hall, Su Fang had secretly advanced to the 8th layer of the secret path. After 9 and 10 layers, he would advance to the Dharma whole realm. Su Fang arrived at a formation door on the left. After activating the token, he entered the cultivation space with a whoosh. The cultivation space of the military strategy hall was similar to the cultivation space of the Flying Feather Hall. The only difference was that the space was filled with spiritual energy, and the demonic beasts imprisoned here were much stronger. The core members of the Flying Feather Army had already been stationed in various places. After many battles, not many of them were cultivating in the cultivation space. Su Fang sat cross-legged in a space. He only needed to absorb the spiritual qi, which was the only thing he needed. Su Fang, another few days passed. Su Fangda had already arrived at the military council hall. Suddenly, Tu Yuyi summoned many experts, including Qi Xin Shuai, Qiu Lingji, and Yu Junqi. Yu Junqi was especially happy to see Su Fang. The two chatted at the back of the group, and Su Fang also learned that the Silver Moon team continued to remain in the Star Dual Desert, still chasing after the other bandits. He also learned from Yu Junqi that the Flying Feather Army had lost many people when they were fighting for the treasures of the Star Dual Dynasty. Fortunately, they had obtained the majority of the treasures, and the Flying Feather Army was rewarded greatly by the Lord of Tianmen Province. Now, the Flying Feather Army was expanding its ranks, taking in talents from other dojos. It seemed that the Flying Feather Army would be able to recover soon. Everyone, quiet down. Tu Yuyi led a few higher-ups, causing the 50 or so experts of the Flying Feather Army to quiet down. They all stared at him. This time, the Flying Feather Army will go all out. Under the leadership of the Inner Circle, everyone will be united to kill Hong Yuetian, completely annihilate these bandits, and obtain the treasures of the Star Dual Dynasty. Therefore, the Inner Circle has decided that the decennial Tianmin Province Banquet will be held 2 years in advance. Everyone should be familiar with the Tianmin Province Banquet. This is the grandest event in our Tianmin Province. The Lords of the 16 Immortals Caves will participate in this event and present their treasures. Even the state of Zhao will send an envoy to participate. This time, the Lord of the Tianmin Province Banquet will be held in our Flying Feather Dojo. This is an affirmation of our Flying Feather Army. Therefore, in the next half a year, all experts above the Dharma Insight realm must cooperate with the Inner Circle to set up the venue and various arrays at the Flying Feather Peak. The rest of you will follow the prescribed order and handle daily affairs. This Tianmen province banquet is the best opportunity for our flying feather army to perform well. I heard that this banquet will discuss how to deal with the heavenly Jade Mountain's Feather Emperor. The Feather Emperor has only been the lord of the heavenly Jade Mountain for a few years. Our Tianmen province does not know much about him. However, this person is very cunning. In addition, the heavenly Jade Mountain's strength is far greater than the Red Swallow Mountain and some other factions. He is very difficult to deal with. I heard that the Feather Emperor has refused to pay tribute to the state of Zhao and has allied with other factions to rebel against the state of Zhao. Our Tianmen province is directly under the state of Zhao. Therefore, this banquet will most likely be to receive the various immortals' cave lords and discuss how to deal with the Feather Emperor in advance. Therefore, this banquet is more important than any other banquets in the past. Our Flying Feather Army must handle this properly. Everyone disperse. There will be detailed work to be done later. Tu Yu used a strict tone and was almost issuing a decree. No one dared to slack off. Everyone started to disperse. Most of them entered the Grand Council Hall. Su Fong and Qiu Lingji had a private conversation. She was concerned about Su Fong in all aspects of the Grand Council Hall. She told Su Fong that if he encountered any difficulties, he could ask her directly. This woman saw that I was gradually gaining a foothold in the Grand Council Hall. Even the way she looked at me and spoke to me was filled with courtesy. She probably didn't expect that a horse driver like me would become a core member. After watching Qiu Lingji leave, Su Fong entered the Grand Council Hall and busied himself for a while. Then, he obtained the opportunity to deliver information to the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle. This was the only reason why Su Fong stayed in Tianmen province. The Inner Circle was located on a strange peak beside the tallest mountain peak. The strange peak was like a rooster with its head held high. Su Fong rode on his hidden winged beast and arrived in front of a golden palace on the mountain peak. Immediately, a disciple came forward to verify his identity. When he arrived in front of the main hall, he saw the words Inner Circle engraved on a large bronze plaque. Clouds circled around it. This large bronze plaque was not simple. Unfortunately, Su Fong did not even have the opportunity to enter the Inner Circle. A martial expert immediately took the item and let him leave the Inner Circle. If he wanted to enter the Inner Circle, he had to at least become a martial expert like Qiu Lingji and Qi Xin Shuai. Without a choice, Su Fong could only leave on his mount. Late at night, sending feather hull, the cold wind blew gently, sweeping into the windowsill and raising Su Fong's long hair. He sat cross-legged on the bed, cultivating the dragon snake scroll. His cultivation had stepped into the 8th layer of the secret path. He also needed to raise all his spells to the corresponding level. Spells were rare goods for cultivators. Any spell was shockingly valuable. Su Fong currently knew quite a few spells, but he only wanted to master practical spells like the Dragon Snake Scroll and the Cloud Lion Roar. He did not want to learn more spells. Stomp! The sound of something falling suddenly came from outside the window. When Su Fong came to the window, Bai Ling landed outside the windowsill like a fairy. Good brother! Su Fong was very surprised. Sister Bai, why did you come to my place so late at night? The Flying Feather Dojo is holding this year's Tianmen Province Banquet. There are disciples everywhere during the day, so I chose to come and see you at night. It can't be that simple to see me, right? Do you know where my father is? Su Fong's eyes suddenly widened. Bai Ling said, Luo Mushua asked me to pass a message to you. She will also come to the Flying Feather Peak to attend a banquet. As for your father's whereabouts, she also asked around, but she only got a part of the information. Su Fong held back his excitement. Finally, there is news. Regarding your father's actions that year, it was indeed sealed by the Inner Circle. You can't find any information in the Directory Hall. The Inner Circle is directly controlled by the Lord of Tianmen Province. Ordinary people can't find any information there. Luo Mushua's identity is special. She found some information, but she only asked me to tell you. I know what she wants. She wants to use the information about my father to make me work for her. As long as I get information about my father, I will indeed owe her a favor. It's only right that she wants me to do something for her. Su Fong said with a keen sense of smell. My dear brother, you've been through a lot. Luo Muxiue secretly investigated the inner circle through her connections and found out that your father, Su Yaotian, was summoned by Tianmin province to build a rest stop in Qingchuan Valley. Bai Ling knew that Su Fong was anxious to know his father's whereabouts. The location of Qingchuan Valley is rather special. It is under the jurisdiction of the Heavenly Fire Cave under Tianmin province, and Qingchuan Valley is very close to Tianyu Mountain. Tianmin province recruited more than 100 people to go to Qingchuan Valley to carry out a mission, but all the people who were sent halfway were attacked by monsters. They were all wiped out, and no one came back alive. Su Fong's eyes were filled with tears, so my father's remains were left in Qingchuan Valley. Bai Ling did not answer this question. He silently looked at Su Fong, who was heartbroken. After half an hour, Su Fong said, Sister Bai, I'll have to trouble you with this matter. Please tell Luo Muxiue that I will do everything for her in the future. Don't be sad. The world of cultivation is so cruel. Everyone will encounter all kinds of accidents. With your father's cultivation, it's easier for accidents to happen to him in such a distant place. Bai Ling comforted him and left the Feather Ascension Hall. In the night sky, Bai Ling was flying over the mountain peak. At this moment, a figure in black flew out from mid-air, startling Bai Ling. When Bai Ling looked at the black-clothed man, he was immediately frightened. Master. The black-clothed man said, Bai Ling, don't meddle in my affairs. As long as Su Fong works for me, I won't make things difficult for him. You go back first. I will be away for a while. Yes, master. Glancing at the flying feather peak, Bai Ling could only leave. Luo Muxiue flashed again, disappearing into the depths of the night at almost the same time. Dawn came unexpectedly. How could Su Fong have the mind to stay in the flying feather dojo? After asking for leave from Tu Yuye, he hurried to Qingchuan Valley. Qingchuan Valley just happened to form a north-south relationship with the Star Dual Sand Plains. A distance of several tens of thousands of Li Su Fong did not rest for even a moment. He used his fastest speed to fly through the mountains. At this speed, he would be able to reach Qingchuan Valley in a few days. If he used his flying sword, he would be able to reach Qingchuan Valley in less than half a day. His heart was burning with anxiety. Under this kind of mood, time flew by. Several days later, Su Fong came to a peak at this time. He took out a map and compared it. Directly ahead was a huge mountain range. In the center of the mountain range was Qingchuan Valley. Using only half a day, Su Fong arrived in the middle of the mountain range, both happy and sad. A valley surrounded by mountains appeared in front of him. In the valley was a primeval forest, very vast. Qingchuan Valley, this mountain range, was called the Qingchuan Mountain Range. It was marked on the map. A few hundred li to the right was the Heavenly Fire Cave, and far to the left was the Heavenly Jade Mountain that shook the Zhao Kingdom. Regardless of strength or influence, the Heavenly Jade Mountain far surpassed Crimson Swallow Mountain. It had dominated the region for many years, and Tianmin province had not been able to capture the Heavenly Jade Mountain several times. The Qingchuan Mountain Range dominates this place. To find a resting station that was built back then is like looking for a needle in a haystack. But even if I search here for a lifetime, I will continue to search. Gazing at the boundless mountains and forests, Su Fong's heart instantly steeled. Carrying his longing for his father, his promise to his mother and grandfather, he immediately rushed towards the valley. Chapter 69. Qingchuan Valley was a valley surrounded by mountains on all sides. Within the valley was a primeval forest, and it was very vast. This mountain range was called Qingchuan Mountain, and it was marked on the map. A few hundred miles to the right was the Heavenly Fire Cave, and far to the left was the famous Heavenly Jade Mountain. In terms of strength and influence, Heavenly Jade Mountain was far superior to Red Swallow Mountain. It had been dominating the region for many years, and Tianmin province had failed to take it down several times. If you need anything, use this seal. Feiyu Dojo is preparing for the banquet. Don't waste too much time. It's best if you come with me when we return." Staring at the vast mountains and forests, Su Fong was in a dilemma about how to find the specific location of the fortifications. Luo Muxue recalled her celestial sword and flew to the right after saying that. Watching her leave, Su Fong immediately rushed to the valley with his longing for his father, his promise to his mother, and his grandfather. Entering the forest, it was almost like entering a primeval world. All kinds of strange plants appeared in front of him, and the wild grass was much taller than a person. Su Fong stepped on the wild grass to search. As long as he passed by a place, he used his mortal vision to search carefully. Even so, he didn't find anything for several days. In front of a stream in the depths of the valley, Su Fong was washing his face with water. However, he was surprised to see some bones lying at the bottom of the 2-foot-deep water. He immediately followed the stream upstream and searched along the shore. As he expected, there were more and more bone fragments. Only when he found 2 skulls did he confirm that they were human bones. There are so many bones somewhere near here. It should be the fortifications that were to be built back then, and also the place where my father met with an accident. He felt a chill in his heart. Through thousands of rivers and mountains, through his own hard work, step by step, he became a great perfection cultivator. He changed his fate and relied on himself to touch the gate of heaven to become a cultivator. His purpose was to find his father. He hoped from the bottom of his heart that his father was still alive, but it was too far away and his father couldn't come home. He didn't want to find his father's remains, nor did he want to find the family's lost treasures. Suddenly, he felt that if he didn't find any news about his father, he would still have some hope and perseverance in his heart. At this moment, he regretted it. He continued to search upstream. Human bone fragments were everywhere. When he came to the source of the stream, he saw a natural karst cave located at the foot of the mountain. It was like a divine dragon opening its mouth and spewing clear and sweet water from the stream. When Su Fong arrived at the karst cave, he was stunned. In the open space on both sides of the karst cave, there were at least dozens of dried corpses lying on the ground. Although they had become dried corpses, the clothes they wore were recognizable at a glance. They were cultivators from Tianmen province. This was most likely the resting place of the cultivators who had been summoned for the mission back then. There were too many corpses, making it hard for Su Fong to breathe. The cave was filled with waves of yin qi. Weren't these people accidentally attacked by demonic beasts? Why are their corpses so intact? There are no external injuries at all, and it seems like they died here at the same time. Unable to move a single step, he stood in front of the cave entrance. When he calmed down and saw so many dried corpses, he suddenly had all sorts of doubts. He strode over to the mummified corpses and sized them up. He then looked at the other mummified corpses, but he didn't find any tokens they carried or anything that could indicate their identity in Tianmen province. He also looked at the mummified corpses more closely, and to his surprise, he found that the bones of the mummified corpses were actually black. They were poisoned, and the poison entered their internal organs. They weren't attacked by demonic beasts, but died from poisoning as a whole. It seems like there was no struggle, and there were no signs of fighting. This is too unusual. As he continued to study the mummified corpses, Su Fong discovered more things. The mummified corpses seemed to have been poisoned at the same time. They seemed to have died from the poison without any struggle, as if they had all taken the poison together. Father. At this time, Su Fong only wanted to find his father's skeleton and take him out of this cave of the dead. More than 20 years had passed. Some of the clothes on the mummified corpses were hard to identify, while others were recognizable. But how could he find his father? Even though Su Fong knew what his father looked like from portraits since he was young, the mummified corpses were all skeleton-like. How could he find his father? After a long time, he still couldn't find his father's skeleton. Instead, he found 3 more mummified corpses in an unnatural cave in the depths of the karst cave. 2 of the mummified corpses had their heads separated from their bodies. The other one was complete, but there was a deep sword mark on its neck. These 3 mummified corpses were not poisoned. Judging from the position of the mummified corpses, They were killed almost at the same time, without any reaction. The clothes on the three corpses seemed to be protective armor before they died, but now only their undergarments were left. Although he couldn't tell if they were disciples of Tianmen province, judging from the extent of their decay, these three were definitely not ordinary cultivators. He could roughly see their outlines, and the meridians under their skin hadn't completely contracted. This meant that their meridians were abnormally strong. Naturally, the rate of decay was slower than that of ordinary cultivators. They might be powerhouses of a secret path realm. The three corpses didn't have anything that could identify them, but Su Fong found something from the corpse with a sword mark on its neck and a right hand curled under its lower abdomen. Turning over the corpse, he was surprised to find that the corpse was holding something in its right hand. It seemed to have used the last of its strength to hold the thing in its palm. Taking it down, he saw that it was a piece of cloth woven from golden silk. Even after so many years, this golden cloth still exuded a rich aura. It was obviously not something an ordinary person could own. Turning the other side of the golden cloth, he saw 4 words embroidered in silver. Internal Guard of King Yu. Internal Guard of King Yu. What did this mean? Seeing that these 3 corpses were killed in an instant, and this mummified corpse seemed to be the strongest, but he was also the last to die. Before he died, he even had physical contact with the killer and tried his best to tear off this piece of cloth from the killer. Perhaps he didn't want to die for no reason and wanted someone to discover the killer's identity. What kind of mission did they come here for that they ended up being killed to silence all of them? Holding the golden cloth, Su Fong looked at the 3 corpses and thought of the mummified corpses that were killed by the poison. Only then did he realize that all of this was not simple, and his father's death was not an accident, but a man-made one. Su Fong went to the Kar's cave and searched the corpses one by one, but he didn't find any weapons. It seemed that the falling moon blade that his father brought was also missing. Obviously, the killer wanted to destroy everyone's identity here and took away anything that could prove their identity, leaving behind only the cold corpses. Buzz, unable to identify his father's remains and unable to find the family treasure, the falling moon blade, Su Fong was disappointed and listless. He felt powerless, as if everything he had done was in vain. The token at his waist suddenly moved slightly, and Su Fong immediately walked out of the Kar's cave. In just a short while, Luo Mushua flew over. After Luo Mushua landed, she immediately saw a large number of mummified corpses in the Kar's cave. With her cultivation and knowledge, she immediately realized something. Could it be that the disciples who carried out the mission back then all died here? Ignoring Su Fong, she went straight into the Kar's cave and quickly came outside. There are secrets in here, and there are secrets that ordinary people can't know. Killing so many people to silence them doesn't seem like an outsider's doing. Otherwise, how could there be no traces of fighting? Although Heavenly Jade Mountain is very close to here, they can't kill so many people in such a short time without anyone noticing. Tianmen province closed the case with a demonic beast attack. It's very likely that they sent people here to investigate. If it was really done by Heavenly Jade Mountain, Tianmen province won't let it go. Su Fong clenched his fists tightly because his father was killed in this deserted place. He had been lying here for more than 20 years, but there was no explanation. How could he not be angry? He wanted to seek justice for his family. My lord, Su Fong handed the golden cloth to Luo Mushua and said, "My father has been lying here for more than 20 years. As his son, I can't even find his bones. My lord, please help me find the murderer. I want to take revenge for my father so that he can rest in peace in the underworld." After Luo Mushua learned where the cloth came from, she fell into deep thought for a while. It seemed that Su Fong could see that it wasn't that Luo Mushua couldn't recognize the cloth, but that the cloth had a great background that made it difficult for her. Suddenly, Luo Mushua asked seriously, "Do you really want to avenge your father?" Su Fong understood and frowned. "I must avenge him. If there's one person, I'll kill one person. If there's 10,000 people, I'll kill 10,000 people." The latter said coldly, then you must be prepared. The King of Yu's internal guards are the soldiers under his command. Who is the King of Yu? He's one of the 3 princes of the state of Zhao, which means that other than the current emperor of the state of Zhao, the 3 princes are the most powerful existences. Even 10 Tianmen province can't compare to the power of 1 prince. The princes can command Tianmen province and any forces around the state of Zhao. With 1 order, they can send an army to Red Swallow Mountain and Heavenly Jade Mountain and destroy these forces. Under the princes, there are countless cultivators and experts. Among them, there are many experts who have reached the Dharma Insight realm and the supernatural realm. Not to mention those experts, even the prince's strength is comparable to the current Tianmen Saint Emperor. Isn't he like a giant elephant? Su Fang felt suffocated. The princes are like elephants. They're high and mighty. Other than the emperor, the state of Zhao is incomparably powerful. It's an empire of cultivators. Tianmen province is just an existence that guards the state of Zhao. If the state of Zhao wants to destroy Tianmen province, it'll only take a day. Su Fang, your enemy is such an unshakable existence. Do you still want to avenge him? Of course I will. Even if he's the emperor, I'll take his head. Master, I have to enter the state of Zhao and get close to the King of Yu. I'll find a chance to kill him. Can you help me? Kill the King of Yu, Su Fang. With your secret path realm cultivation, you can't even see his shadow, let alone kill him. How can you kill him? I can help you. During the banquet in Tianmen province, there's a messenger from the state of Zhao who works for Prince Langjun. I can introduce him to you. If he likes you, you can be directly transferred to the state of Zhao to work for the prince. King Langjun, 1 King of Yu, and another King Langjun. Su Fang felt that the road to revenge was like a road to heaven with no end in sight. Think about this carefully. If you want to find the enemy who killed your father, it's undoubtedly more difficult than going to heaven. Once you've embarked on this path, you won't have the chance to turn back. Think about it, and tell me through by Ling. If something happens to you in the state of Zhao in the future, you'll implicate me. If I offend the King of Yu, I'll end up like this mummy. Luo Muxiue handed the golden cloth to Su Fang and solemnly reminded him. Su Fang thought for a while, picked up a piece of black bone, and followed Luo Muxiue on the immortal sword, leaving the Qingchuan Mountains. Tianmen province before they got close to Tianmen province. Luo Muxiue left Su Fang and rushed back to Tianmen province alone. King of Yu. Su Fang, on the other hand, found a quiet place deep in the mountains. He took out the black bone that he took from the Qingchuan Valley and studied it. Su Fang transmitted a thought. Xian Huang, let Dao Wuliang out. I have something to ask him. Okay, this old fox has been very obedient recently. He won't be able to cause any trouble. Xian Huang immediately responded, and his right arm was covered with a mysterious xianguang. Then, the shadow of a pagoda flickered, and a yellow figure shot out. The author's words, it's the weekend again, and the spring festival is getting closer. There are many people and cars, so be careful when you go out. Chapter 70. Su Fang threw the bone to Dao Wuliang. Help me see what kind of poison this is. After the yellow-browed red fox appeared, it caught the bone and immediately released a layer of demonic aura to wrap around the bone. After a few breaths, Dao Wuliang had a result. This is a poison concocted by a cultivator. It's one of a kind. Most of the cultivators in Nanjiang have some understanding of poison. The formula of this poison can't escape my eyes. You want the formula? Since Dao Wuliang came from Nanjiang, it seemed that he had an extraordinary understanding of poison. Su Fang shook his head and asked after a moment of silence, I don't need it for now. Dao Wuliang, can you concoct poison? Can you let a secret path cultivator kill a transcendent realm cultivator, or even a transcendent realm cultivator? It's not a big problem. I just need some special poison and concoct it according to the formula. But with poison, poisoning is the most difficult part. How can a secret path cultivator poison a cultivator? Before he poisons, he will be discovered. The old fox had already guessed what Su Fang wanted to do, but he didn't show it. Strength or the way of the king. They stayed in the mountains for a few days. Feiyu Peak after Su Fang returned. He began to work for the Tianmen province banquet under Tu Yue's arrangement. At night, it was Su Fang's day to cultivate. He ate another fire serpent fruit. Now that he had reached the 8th layer of the secret path, it seemed that it was more difficult for him to advance. If it was before, one fire serpent fruit would be enough for him to advance a level. A period of time passed. In the middle of the night, the Feather Ascension Palace seemed lonely. Su Fang didn't cultivate, but waited in the courtyard. About 2 hours later, a mighty gust of wind swept over from the depths of the forest, and a black-clothed woman with a voluptuous figure flashed over. Luo Mushu, lady, I've thought it through. I'm willing to serve Lord Langjun. Please recommend me. The two entered the hall, and as Luo Mushu sat down, Su Fang immediately bowed. Luo Mushu nodded and said, if that's the case, then things will be much easier. If you want to serve Langjun King, then you have to be strong enough. You're only in the Secret Path realm, but you managed to enter the Secret Path realm from the Chi Eater realm in just a few years. That's why you can serve Langjun King. They can train you to become a strong cultivator. All right, what's your cultivation level now? Su Fang said, 8th layer of the secret passage, trying to break through to the 9th layer. 8 layers of secret passages. Luo Mushue was stunned. She looked at Su Fang as if he was a monster. In just 1 year, you have gone from the 1st layer to the 8th layer of the secret passage. Before I entered Tianmen province, I obtained a bead with demonic aura. Later, I found out that it was a demonic beast's inner core. I wanted to find my father, so I swallowed the inner core, which gave me some demonic aura in my body, and my physical body became very different. After that, Su Fang immediately waved his right hand, and a faint yellow demonic aura emerged from his palm. This demonic beast's inner core made my cultivation level rise step by step. My physical body is also stronger than cultivators of the same realm. When he finished, he released his demonic aura again. Luo Mushue was already in disbelief. Luo Mushue sighed after a long time. I didn't expect you to have such a fortuitous encounter. Humans can't contain demonic aura, but you consumed the inner core as a mortal. Not only did you not die from the demonic aura's backlash, but you also fused with the inner core, creating your unique physical body. It's no wonder you can enter the 8th layer of the secret passage from the Chi Eater realm in just 3 years. I've never seen such a situation before, but with your talent, I believe that you will be chosen by that person and serve Langjun King. She did not have a trace of doubt. She completely believed Su Fang's words. As for Su Fang, he had already thought of this. What kind of person was Langjun King? Those who could serve Langjun King must all be extraordinary. He had to show a big difference in order to convince Luo Mushue first and then recommend her. Before that, he asked Dao Wuliang to secretly help him by injecting his demonic aura into his meridians so that Su Fang could control it freely. He had already made preparations so that Luo Mushue would believe him. When the time comes, I will recommend you. Luo Mushue only left this sentence and left the Feather Ascension Palace in the dark. Sister Bai is right. Luo Mushue is not simple. If she is related to Langjun King, doesn't that mean she has a network in Zhao country? After watching her leave, Su Fang returned to the main hall. He was silent for a long time, especially when he checked the golden cloth back and forth. King Yu father, there's still a lot of unsolved problems. Tianmen province deliberately covered up the mission and asked King Yu's guards to kill the witnesses. Maybe the mission itself is an affair between Tianmen province and King Yu. In the end, they wanted to kill the witnesses. No matter what, I have to get to the bottom of this matter between Tianmen province and King Yu. I have to take revenge. No matter what, I have to seek justice for my father. Facing the dark, Su Fang did not expect that the matter of finding his father would have such a change. It was actually related to the current king of Zhao country. There is another way to find the murderer. That is to find the falling moonblade. Once I find a family treasure, I can trace it down layer by layer. The falling moonblade is at least a spiritual treasure. It can't be thrown away. It will definitely appear in the hands of a cultivator. He meditated until dawn. Su Fong went to the military council hall to prepare for the banquet. A few months passed. Boom! In the feather hall, Su Fong was sitting cross-legged on the bed. His clothes and the surrounding gauze suddenly lifted up a strong force, and then a large amount of impurities were discharged from his pores. The promotion force in his body hit his meridians and bones again and again. He felt his body being torn apart again and again. The promotion force rushed to his brain. Secret path, 9 layers. Su Fong looked at the impurities in his body. He felt that his body no longer belonged to him. In his Qi, the 9-yang true Qi surged back. He clearly felt that his meridians were different from before, and his Qi was stronger. I took 2 pieces of fire snake fruit and several channel relaxation pills to reach the 9th layer of the secret path. To reach the 10th layer, I have to take more resources. Only now did he understand the importance of resources to cultivators. Without resources, it was not easy for cultivators to cultivate by themselves. For example, the cultivators in Tianzong City who entered Tianmen province to cultivate were unable to obtain resources. In the end, they could only be driven out of Tianmen province and stay in the Qi-eating realm forever. Fortunately, Su Fong did not lack resources. At least for now, he did not lack resources. If he did, he would have to go out and find demon beasts to burn into energy beads for cultivation. The first transformation of the 9-yang 9 transformations is still no progress. Even at the high level of the secret path realm, it is not easy to control the meridians in my body. From this point of view, I have to step into the Dharma insight realm to have a chance. Yang Meridian. Su Fong had been persisting in cultivating the 9-yang 9 transformations, but he was unable to condense the Yang Meridian. He could only bring more 9-yang true Qi to his body. Only after condensing the Yang Meridian could he be considered to have stepped into the cultivation world of the 9-yang 9 transformations. After swallowing another piece of fire snake fruit and taking a channel relaxation pill, he strived to meet the emissary from the Zhao country in his strongest state. Flying Feather Peak was at the peak of the mountain behind the military council hall. In the middle of the mountain range, there was an open-air plaza built with pieces of jade. Gemstones and spirit stones were inlaid everywhere. In addition, there was a formation floating in the air, making the plaza look like a cultivation space. Lin Zhan, Li Suqing, and Su Fong were patrolling the perimeter of the plaza. Lin Zhan looked at the plaza enviously. In half a month, there will be a banquet here that is held once every 10 years. Not only will the 16 cave masters come, but there will also be an emissary from the Zhao country and many other important figures. To be able to see such a grand event, the trip to Tianmen province will not be in vain. With this banquet, the Flying Feather Army will have better days in the future. Li Suqing was also looking forward to it. Secret Path Realm disciples like them could only be responsible for some chores outside the plaza. Suddenly, Lin Zhan saw the formation flickering above. He looked at the plaza and saw a few powerhouses with extraordinary auras entering the plaza. Look, those seem to be powerhouses from some cave abode. They came so quickly. Li Suqing and Su Fong also stared at those powerhouses. They were indeed not cultivators from Tianmen province. To be able to come here, there were naturally the powerhouses from the cave abodes around Tianmen province. In the next few days, there was a lot of excitement. More and more powerhouses from cave abodes came to Flying Feather Peak and stayed in Flying Feather Dojo. Su Fong also met many different people during this time. He was very interested in one of the cave abodes, Nightmare Cave. Because Luo Zhongyun was a powerhouse from Nightmare Cave, he was the first powerhouse Su Fong met. Luo Zhongyun also wanted to recommend him to enter Nightmare Cave to cultivate. Disciples from other dojos also began to come to Flying Feather Peak to watch the show. As more and more people came, Su Fong gradually had no time to rest and cultivate. He was in charge of receiving powerhouses from cave abodes all day long. Late one night, Su Fong was cultivating in Ascending Feather Hall when Crane Fairy Bai Ling came quietly with Luo Muxue. When he came to the courtyard, not only was Luo Muxue there, but there were also 3 men with ethereal auras, especially the middle-aged man in the middle. He was wearing a silver robe that seemed to be embroidered with silver silk and had spiritual energy. It looked like a layer of spiritual energy was slowly floating. The middle-aged man had a sharp and angular appearance. He was calm and collected, and he had a refined and cultured aura. From head to toe, he exuded the aura of wealth and the aura of an expert. Even his shoes were woven with gold thread. After entering the hall, Luo Muxiue first asked the middle-aged man to sit down. The other 2 men stood behind the middle-aged man, not saying a word from beginning to end. Luo Muxiue introduced to the man, "Lord Shun, this is the person I recommended to you. His name is Su Fong from Tianzong City." Tianzong City, I know that place. 3,000 years ago, it used to be the territory of the Purple Fortune Kingdom. Unfortunately, it was later destroyed by my Zhao country. But what's more interesting is that the royal family that used to control the Purple Fortune Kingdom also had the surname Su. Lord Shen glanced at Su Fong and paused for a while. He was quite satisfied. "Su Fong, Muxiue has already told me about your situation in detail. It's not easy to serve the prince's mansion. It's even harder than in Tianmen province. You have a lot of potential, and the prince's mansion also needs talented people to serve." Su Fong immediately bowed. "My lord, it is a great opportunity for me to be able to serve the prince's mansion. I believe that if I can satisfy my lord in the future, I will definitely be loyal to the prince's mansion. My surname is Shun, and my name is Huangqi. I'm a trusted aide of the prince. This time, I'm representing the prince to participate in the mansion banquet in Tianmen province. I believe in Muxiue's vision. During the mansion banquet, there will always be competition between the various cave mansions. They will bring out their subordinates to spar in the mansion banquet. You should seize the opportunity to represent the Flying Feather Army and show your talent in public. This way, I can recruit people from Tianmen province." Lord Shun stood up after he finished speaking. "Su Fong, I'm looking forward to your performance at the mansion banquet." Luo Muxiue also reminded him and immediately escorted Shen Huangqi away. The 4 of them flashed in the night sky and disappeared in a breath. Shen Huangqi, what a powerful person. Although I can't see through his cultivation, I feel that he can see through anyone's cultivation with just a glance. King Lang's trusted aide, Shen Huangqi. In order to find the murderer of his father and the family heirloom, he would have to go through this person in the future. I still don't know when I can enter the Zhao Nation. This mansion banquet in Tianmen province is my chance to make a name for myself. I'll first attract the attention of the Lord of Tianmen province. It would be best if I could find out the secret of the mission from Tianmen province. After thinking for a while, he closed the door and began to cultivate. Chapter 71. On this day, the ordinary Flying Feather Dojo was filled with disciples from various large dojos, because there was only 1 day left before the once-in-a-decade Tianmen province banquet. Senior Brother Yu, Nightmare Cave's people have arrived. The Grand Council Hall was also bustling with people. Yu Junkie suddenly stopped Su Fong and told him that Nightmare Cave's experts had arrived at Flying Feather Peak. Su Fong was extremely happy when he heard that. Nightmare Cave had finally arrived, but not Nightmare Cave, but Luo Zhongyun. "Everyone, I have some matters to attend to, so please stay here and enjoy the scenery." Su Fong was currently bringing a few people from the state of Zhao to enjoy the scenery. After settling them down, he left the Grand Council Hall. Arriving at the same side of the mountain as Qiulingji, Su Fong immediately ascended a palace and saw that the person in charge of greeting Nightmare Cave's experts was Tai Su, who happened to be Yu Junkie's good friend. Tai Su and another Flying Feather Army expert were guarding outside the palace. When they saw Su Fong, they cupped their fists and said, "Junior Brother Su, you're here for something?" Su Fong bowed. "Senior Brother, may I ask if Nightmare Cave's Luo Zhongyun is here?" "Brother Luo, he's here. Wait for him." Tai Su was very easy to talk to, and it seemed that he knew Luo Zhongyun. He indicated for Su Fong to wait outside. Tai Su entered the main hall and soon let a man out. It was Luo Zhongyun, who had subdued the blazing twin-tailed mane with the illusion cloud rope. The latter suddenly saw Su Fong and was stunned for a while. He suddenly patted his head and exclaimed, "Little brother, so it's you? I didn't expect you to become a part of Tianmen province. Oh, look at your black feather battle armor. In just a few short years, you've even become a member of the Flying Feather Army." Su Fongdao was delighted. "Brother Luo, you still remember me. How could I not remember how many mortals you have? You were able to cross the Fishmouth River on your own, step by step. You left Tianzong City, crossed thousands of rivers and mountains, and entered Tianmen province to cultivate. In a few years, you even became a member of the Flying Feather Army. To me, you can be considered a witness to your achievements." After Tai Su heard this, he realized that Su Fong and Luo Zhongyun were not very familiar with each other, but they seemed to have a good relationship. Big brother Luo, junior brother Su relied on himself to touch the heavenly gate and climbed the heavenly gate before joining my feathery dojo. He is the first genius to enter Tianmen province by climbing the heavenly gate in 100 years. Su Fong said again, "Big brother Luo, if you're not busy right now, I can show you around." "All right." Luo Zhongyun nodded his head heroically. The two of them left the main hall and quickly entered the forest. It seemed that Luo Zhongyun was not at all unfamiliar with Tianmen province. Could it be that big brother Luo has also cultivated here before? I joined Aluo Dojo and entered at the flesh body realm. When I reached the Law Cave realm, I met the current cave master. These past 10 years, I've been following the cave master in Nightmare Cave. You, on the other hand, have really made me have a whole new level of respect for you. Even now, I can still clearly remember standing in front of me all those years ago. The one who refused my request and insisted on relying on himself to touch the heavenly gate to enter Tianmen province. Have you found your father's whereabouts? I didn't think that big brother Luo would remember my matters so clearly. Not long ago, I had some gains, but for the time being, I'm still unable to find my father's whereabouts. Su Fong brought Luo Zhongyun to a cliff. Luo Zhongyun gazed at the mountain range of Tianmen province, as if he was reminiscing about the past. Su Fong suddenly asked, "Big brother Luo, do you know anything about Tianzong City's past, or the Violet Fortune Kingdom? 3,000 years ago, it was known as the Era of Nations. In this world, there were many nations, but after the war, most of them were destroyed one by one. The state of Zhao destroyed the Violet Fortune Kingdom, the Dual Star Dynasty, and other nations, becoming the only empire in this territory. I heard that the Violet Fortune Kingdom was only born a few hundred years ago, but it was destroyed by the state of Zhao. The state of Zhao's emperor, Zhao Wuji, possessed unparalleled divine abilities. He beheaded one overlord after another, and used his strength to unify the other nations, creating the state of Zhao today. Speaking of the Violet Fortune Kingdom, the one who controls the empire is also surnamed Su. Could it be that you're a descendant of the Violet Fortune Kingdom's imperial family?" Luo Zhongyun's eyes flashed with a shrewd light. Su Fong shook his head. "I only want to understand a bit more about this world. Before, I only knew about Tianmen province. How could I have known that Tianmen province was only a small power within the state of Zhao? The state of Zhao is a legend, and the founding emperor, Zhao Wuji, is even more of a legend. The state of Zhao was only born 100 years ago, but under Zhao Wuji's leadership, they destroyed one nation after another. It is rumored that Zhao Wuji single-handedly challenged the emperors, and wherever he went, he would return triumphantly with the heads of the emperors." In front of Su Fong, Luo Zhongyun opened his mouth and told him everything he knew about the past of the state of Zhao and the Violet Fortune Kingdom. After reuniting for half a day, the two parted ways in the forest. Su Fong returned to the military council hall. Just as he arrived at the front of the hall, he suddenly saw two familiar figures, Lu Lan and Lu Ming, the siblings. The siblings were chatting and laughing with a group of unspeakably wealthy people, causing others to be envious. Those people must be the emissaries of the state of Zhao. Even so, many men were surrounding Lu Lan. Lianzhan just came out from the military council hall and saw Su Fong from afar. He quickly ran over and said, "Junior brother Su, it is better if you don't go over. I don't know where Lu Lan got her connections from, but she has a close relationship with some of the emissaries from the state of Zhao. She once suspected that you were the one who killed junior brother Lu. It is better for you to avoid her." Lianzhan's reminder was timely, and Su Fong immediately avoided Lu Lan and Lu Ming. Everyone in the Flying Feather Army was busy serving the various cave masters and emissaries from the state of Zhao. Su Fong also met quite a few cave masters and heard many legends about them. At the same time, he accidentally found out that among the emissaries from the state of Zhao, there were emissaries sent by the king of Yu. The three Grand Dukes had sent emissaries, and there were some emissaries who represented the empire. There were also emissaries from the current crown princes, and other influential figures. There were too many influential figures, especially for those in the Secret Path realm. Which one of these emissaries wasn't at the Divine Power realm? Those cave masters were also Divine Power realm experts, and those in the Secret Path realm were like ants to them. Dawn came unexpectedly. All the cultivators in the Secret Path realm in Tianmen province came to the Flying Feather Peak almost overnight. There were about 2,000 of them, and they had already arrived at the plaza early in the morning to wait for the banquet to begin. As for disciples in the flesh-body realm and the Chi-Eater realm, they weren't qualified to participate in this banquet. At the front and center of the banquet plaza, there were floating seats that were inlaid with spirit stones and precious stones. In fact, an array formation was used. The spirit stones were used as the core, and they fused with runic patterns to form square seats. The seats on the seats were all inlaid with gold, silver, and precious stones. It was very extravagant. The square seats were 20 feet above the ground and formed a square that surrounded the center of the plaza. There were a total of 16 floating seats, and they represented the cave masters under the command of Tianmen province. Every cave master brought 7 to 10 people with him. Near the front, there was a rectangular seat with about 30 people. They all had something in common, and that was that they were all very wealthy. On the rostrum, the cultivators of the Flying Feather Army stood on their flying swords, and some cultivators from the inner palace were serving all kinds of delicacies to the seats. As for the 2,000 or so Tianmen province disciples around the plaza, they were also able to enjoy all kinds of delicacies. The Flying Feather Army's disciples in the Secret Path realm and the Flesh Body realm were in charge of serving them. Su Fong, Lianzhan, Li Suqing, Zhang Xuejian, Mei Xianxiao, Yuan Chengying, and the others were mainly in charge of serving these Secret Path realm disciples. Looking at the floating seats from this angle, Su Fong also saw many familiar faces, such as Luo Muxue, Ho Ping, Yang Zhongjue, Tua, and the others, as well as the leaders and elites of each dojo. In the seats of the Zhao Kingdom's emissaries, each of them attracted everyone's attention, especially the 6 people sitting at the front. They seemed to be even more extraordinary, and Shen Huangqi was one of them. During this process, Ho Ping led the leaders of each dojo to offer wine to the Zhao Kingdom's emissaries, and then the cave masters. This is the power of the Heavenly Gate Mansion. The Divine Power Realm Tycoon is so astonishing. No wonder an arrogant character like the Crimson Swallow Great Emperor did not dare cross the Star Dual Sand Plains. Any cave master can contend against a great suzerain. After 3 years in Tianmen province, Su Fong finally saw the strength of Tianmen province. No wonder they could dominate a region and oversee such a vast territory. It was because of these cave masters and cultivators in front of him. And these cave masters in front of cultivators like Shen Huangqi were inferior in both aura and strength. It seemed that the Zhao Kingdom was the real crocodile. When it was close to noon, the Zhao Kingdom's emissaries and the cave masters also offered wine to each other. More cultivators from Tianmen province arrived, and there were more than 10 cultivators like Luo Muxue and Ho Ping. Su Fong asked around and found out that Luo Muxue was conferred the title of Tianmen Holy Maiden General because she controlled a team called the Holy Maiden Army. Although there weren't many of them, they gathered the cultivators of Tianmen province and were under Luo Mushue's command. This meant that Luo Mushue's position was about the same as Yang Zhongjue and the other leaders. Tianmen Province's lord also quickly arrived. Everyone stood up to welcome the Tianmen Holy Emperor. Even Shen Huangqi and the other Zhao emissaries were the same. It was clear that the Tianmen Holy Emperor was not simple. So young. Not only was this the first time most people saw the Tianmen Holy Emperor, but it was also Su Fang's first time seeing the overlord of this territory. The Tianmen Holy Emperor was at most 30 years old. He had a pair of heroic eyebrows, but his deep eyes were too unfathomable. And when he met the Zhao emissaries, his gaze was like a pillar, and he chatted with everyone. To be able to injure Dao Wuliang's human form, the Tianmen Holy Emperor is too powerful. When I have time, I must ask the old fox just how high the Tianmen Holy Emperor's cultivation is, just how unfathomable it is. Su Fang and Lian Zhan arrived at the back of the platform. At this time, they were even closer to the Tianmen Holy Emperor, especially only 2 zhang away from Luo Mushue. If it was not for this banquet being held at the Flying Feather Peak, he would not have been able to obtain this kind of close contact with Tianmen Province's upper echelons, as well as Zhao's emissaries and cave masters. At this time, Shen Huangqi met with the Tianmen Province's lord at the front. Congratulations to Lord Manor for annihilating the Star Duel's Sand Plains bandits and beheading the fierce bandit Hong Yuetian. The Tianmen Holy Emperor cupped his fist at Shen Huangqi. A trivial matter, not worth mentioning. Brother Shen, you must not be polite. Although my place is remote, I want everyone to eat and drink well. The other emissaries also addressed the Tianmen Holy Emperor as brothers, causing many disciples to view the Tianmen Holy Emperor as an astonishing celestial, able to chat and laugh with the Zhao's great personages. The Nightmare Devil Cave Master offers 100 spirit treasures, 300 meridian relaxation pills, and 100 demon beast inner cores to the Lord Manor. The Heavenly Fire Cave Master offers 100 spirit treasures, 200 meridian relaxation pills, and 150 inner cores. After noon, the 2 suns in the sky emitted a scorching heat. Yang Zhongjue sent out 2 Yuan, the Inner Manor's experts, shouting on the spot. Besides the 16 cave masters, even the 6 Zhao Kingdom emissaries represented the Zhao Kingdom to bring gifts to Tianmen Province, all of which were every sort of magic weapon and immortal pill. Everyone, at this moment, Ho Ping came to the center and bowed to each of the Zhao Empire's emissaries before looking at the cave masters. Cave masters, today is the Heavenly Gate Prefecture's once-in-a-decade prefecture banquet. We are welcoming our distinguished guests from the Zhao Empire. These distinguished guests represent the various princes, as well as the current emperor. We would also like to display the Heavenly Gate Prefecture's splendor to our distinguished guests. According to the past rules, everyone will spar with each other. Chapter 72. As soon as Ho Ping finished speaking, the experts behind the cave masters and the Tianmen province experts behind the rostrum were all eager to give it a try. Apart from the cave masters, Tu Yi and Luo Mushue, even Qi Xinshui and Qiu Lingji had cold gazes. To have a chance to show off in front of the Zhao ambassador was an opportunity that only came by once every 10 years. Nightmare Cave, Luo Zhongyun. Oxhead Cave, Fu Biao. 2 figures flew out from the cave master's seats and arrived at the center of the square. When Su Fang heard the name Luo Zhongyun, he indeed saw Luo Zhongyun. In front of him was a man with a stocky build. Looking at this person's broad shoulders and thick waist, he was a tough stubble and had a physical advantage. Brother Luo, please. You're welcome. Under everyone's gaze, Fu Biao and Luo Zhongyun each took a few steps back. Ho Ping stepped forward and pointed his finger. 3 talismans appeared in the air and formed an invisible barrier. Tongbi Divine Fist. Fu Biao attacked first. With a bang, his aura surged out. Layers of energy exploded. It was 5 layers of energy. This was a powerful person who had reached the 5th layer of the Dharma Cave realm. He was also one of the mainstays of Tianmen Province. soul-snatching flying spear. Luo Zhongyun also released a shocking amount of energy. His energy had reached the 6th layer. He had already surpassed Fu Biao in terms of cultivation. This was not a competition or a battle of magical powers. It was just a spar. Therefore, realms were secondary. The most important thing was to let the Zhao ambassador see how different he was. Of course, not everyone could go up. If one was not at the Dharma Cave realm, it would be a joke. A dozen silver spears appeared around Luo Zhongyun's body. They were not magical treasures, but spells. They were formed by spiritual power. The burly Fu Biao immediately gained the upper hand. His body released layers of energy. As he waved his hands, several shadows of arms appeared around him. It was as if he had 3 heads and 6 arms. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The silver spears around Luo Zhongyun started to spin around his body. The shadows of the arms were like snakes, whipping the spear's defenses. Pung pung, the arm shadow caused the silver spear defense to tremble, forming an imposing aura that swept through the surrounding barrier. The void barrier immediately appeared. ZZ, the silver spear danced and spun around Luo Zhongyun, forming a flying spear defense. The arm shadow with divine power was unable to disperse it at all. Be careful, this is the heart-shattering palm that I have painstakingly researched. The battle of spells shook the flying feather peak. Roughly half an incense stick's worth of time later, Fu Biao saw that Luo Zhongyun's defense was unbreakable. He immediately unleashed his strongest attack. All of his aura poured into his palms as he took a step forward. The instant his palms struck out, 2 palm winds smashed towards Luo Zhongyun like a mountain. Luo Zhongyun still maintained his silver spear defense. At this moment, he was very confident. He looked straight at the palm wind that covered the area in front of him, and then with a boom, the power of the palm shot out, and the light of the stars intersected. It was about to devour both the silver spear and Luo Zhongyun's defenses. However, the silver spear was still dancing in the air, strongly resisting the power of the palm and penetrating layer by layer. With another boom, Luo Zhongyun and the silver spear were both forced back 3 meters. The silver spear stopped, and Luo Zhongyun calmly cupped his fists. You're too courteous. Your spells are exquisite, and your magic energy is powerful. I admire you. Fu Biao immediately admitted defeat. Good. The 2 of you have performed well. Here's your reward. An envoy from the state of Zhao sat next to Shen Huangqi. He waved his hand to the person next to him. A young woman appeared and took out 2 empty bags. She handed them over to Fu Biao and Luo Zhongyun. The King of Yu's residence has a large reward. 3 spirit treasures, 50 meridian loosening pills, and an empty bag. Many thanks, my lord. The 2 of them immediately bowed to the envoy. The King of Yu's people. Countless people were envious. They had actually received such a shocking reward. Even if they worked in Tianmen province for their entire lives, they wouldn't receive 3 Dharma treasures. Only one person wasn't envious at all. Instead, he stared at the state of Zhao's seats. He was secretly sizing up a middle-aged man in purple-yellow robes with an exquisite jade pendant at his waist and a folding fan. Lord Pang, Heavenly Flame Cave, Fiend General. 6-Plate Cave, Hongli. Once Luo Zhongyun and Fu Biao returned to their respective camps under countless envious gazes, they continued to fight. 2 more experts from different cave masters appeared. However, this time, the Fiend General and Hong Li only needed 3 moves to determine the victor. That Fiend General's cultivation had reached the 8th level of the Dharma Hole realm. That was too shocking. Hong Li, who came from 6-Plate Cave, was only at the 6th level of the Dharma Hole realm. There was a difference of an entire realm between them. So in just 3 moves, he was defeated by the Fiend General. No matter how powerful Hong Li's magic was, it couldn't compare to his strength. Hong Li was forced to leave without receiving any reward. As for the Heavenly Flame Cave's Fiend General, he remained in place, domineeringly sweeping his gaze over the cave masters. The 8th level of the Dharma Hole realm was already beyond the reach of many people. Cultivating in the Dharma Hole realm wasn't like cultivating in the Secret Path realm. One had to cultivate magic energy. Cultivating magic energy was too difficult. Using magic energy wasn't easy either. So when entering the Dharma Hole realm, many people would be stuck at the 5th level. There were very few people who could reach the 8th or 9th level. Magic energy was a huge obstacle. None of the cave masters stepped forward. The fiend general puffed out his chest and said, "Ha, which friend wants to come and try? I'm here to experience your skills." Suddenly, a figure appeared on the main stage. Yunlu Training Grounds, Xiao Yunbai. It was a white-clothed man. He didn't look like he was in his mid-20s. Xiao Yunbai Su Fong heard many people talking about this white-clothed man. He then heard, "He's an expert from Jade Heron Training Ground. I heard that he's one of the Jade Heron Training Ground seedlings who are about to reach the Transcendent Realm." Transcendent Realm. Once he reaches the Transcendent Realm, he'll be favored by the Hall Master. Everyone was talking about the white-clothed man. Those who knew about Xiao Yunbai were all experts above the Dharma Hole realm. For someone like Su Fong, who was in the Secret Path realm, the other party was like a god. In a Transcendent Realm seedling? In the plaza, the Heavenly Flame Grotto's fiend general cupped his fists and said, "Xiao Yunbai, it's because of your many missions that we've only met each other and never had the chance to fight. It's my honor to be able to experience your skills at this banquet." "I'm also very honored. Please." Xiao Yunbai was like a graceful prince. After landing, he rolled up his sleeves. Fire cloud, mountain suppression. The fiend general's aura suddenly erupted. The Dharma Hole realm's energy was too terrifying. Under the fiend general's full power, his energy actually started burning. Heavenly Heart Finger. Xiao Yunbai gently rose. He didn't seem to release the same terrifying aura as his opponent. However, his index finger suddenly turned a reddish-gold color. Heavenly Heart Finger. That's one of the strongest magic arts in Tianmen Province. Apart from being a transcendent realm, it's also extremely powerful. That's right. The Sword Heart Finger that we originally cultivated actually came from the Heavenly Heart Finger. It evolved from this magic art. Many people were praising Xiao Yunbai. Looking at the Tianmen Province's upper echelons from the sidelines, it was clear that they admired Xiao Yunbai. Huchi. The fiend general spat out an astonishing amount of flames. The instant Xiao Yunbai's Heavenly Heart Finger arrived, a fiery hand appeared from the flames. The fiery hand was truly powerful. This further proved that the fiend general wasn't a simple person. He was able to grasp an even deeper level of magic arts. Bang! The fiery hand was about 3 meters long, while Xiao Yunbai was like a weak chicken. He wasn't a match for the fiery hand at all. As expected, the Heavenly Heart Finger was swept away by the hand. Not only did it disperse the energy from the fiend general's finger, but it also crushed the Heavenly Heart Finger's energy bit by bit. Xiao Yunbai was forced to take a few steps back. The fiend general proudly shouted, "Xiao Yunbai, you're looking down on me. Hurry up and show me your true strength." Who? As an expert of the Heavenly Flame Grotto, the fiend general had experienced many battles. He knew that Xiao Yunbai was still hiding his true strength from this attack. Did he think he could finish him off with this attack? In the blink of an eye, a shocking aura erupted from Xiao Yunbai's body. Above his aura, 9 layers of qi appeared. 9th level of the Dharma Cave Realm. He was only a step away from the great circle of the Dharma Cave Realm. It was no wonder Xiao Yunbai was a divine ability seedling. In terms of cultivation, Xiao Yunbai had already surpassed the Fiend General. However, the Fiend General was brimming with spiritual energy and was as steady as a mountain. In other words, at the 8th level of the Dharma Cave Realm, he possessed the strength of a 9th level cultivator. 9th level of the Dharma Cave Realm. Xiao Yunbai, you are indeed a divine ability seedling. This is interesting. Be careful, Mount Firecloud. The Fire Fiend General instantly held his breath, and flames burned in his eyes. After he formed the seal, he took a step forward with booming footsteps. The flames that shot out from his surroundings were formed by countless spirit tattoos, and it caused the fire clouds that enveloped the Fire Fiend General to come to a stop. Just how much energy was required to create such a magical art? Since your defense is strong, I'll use an unconventional move. You are indeed an expert. Heavenly Heart Finger. Xiao Yunbai's aura was completely different from before. A moment ago, he had been an elegant young master. Now, he had become a divine weapon that could cut through all obstacles. With a buzzing sound, Xiao Yunbai soared into the air once more. His index finger emitted a sizzling golden light as he pointed at the incoming Fiend General. Everyone's eyes widened, waiting for the result. Boom! The golden light pushed out by the Heavenly Heart Finger landed on the Fire Cloud defense. The Fire Cloud defense immediately shattered. With an unstoppable force, the golden light shattered the Fire Fiend General's defense. The Fire Fiend General could only stare blankly at the golden light. He wanted to poke a hole in his forehead. Bang! But the golden light stopped just in time. It was just an inch away from shattering the Fiend General's head. Good! Cheers erupted from the crowd. The Fiend General broke out in a cold sweat. Xiao Yunbai, you really are strong. I can't even block one of your attacks, but I'm still in the 8th level. Wait until I reach the 9th level. You won't have such an easy time. Thank you. Xiao Yunbai maintained his calm expression, but his aura was too terrifying. He slowly withdrew his aura. Then I'll wait for you to break through to the 9th level. Here's a reward. At this time, the Zhao Empire's emissary to the left clapped for the two of them. Another expert arrived at the plaza and took out 2 empty pouches. There were treasures and medicinal pills inside, drawing the envy of many people. Who else wants to spar with me? Once the Fiend General left, Xiao Yunbai remained in the formation and cupped his fists in front of everyone. This was a challenge. I am Zuo Li of the Cloud Cave. I am willing to spar with you. A black-robed man rushed out from one of the immortals' seats. Xiao Yunbai was startled. The black-robed man landed on the ground, revealing a square face with short hair. So it's Senior Apprentice Brother Zuo. Junior Apprentice Brother. Zuo Li had come from the Cloud Cave. It seemed he had known Xiao Yunbai for a long time. That meant this Zuo Li had once cultivated in a certain training hall in Tianmen Province. Chapter 73. Xiao Yunbai nodded. Senior Apprentice Brother Zuo, please enlighten me. You and I fought against each other more than 10 years ago. At that time, we also happened to go through a banquet. But at that time, you and I were still too weak. This time is the perfect stage for us to perform. Sword Chi Song. Zuo Li circulated his aura and formed a hand seal. His energy began to erupt. Unexpectedly, he was also at the 9th level of the Dharma opening realm. A large amount of sword chi flew out of his palm. This was very similar to the Sword Heart Finger. Song in the sky. His body was like a bow, and all his aura was concentrated in his hands. The dozens of sword chi overlapped, forming a shocking sword light. It exploded out under Zuo Li's control. The sword chi overlapped, and it was as if all the sword chi had a life of their own. Each sword let out a deafening hum. They were so fast that it seemed they were going to eat Xiao Yunbai in one move. Cloud Lion Roar. This time, Xiao Yunbai didn't use his signature Heavenly Heart Finger. Instead, he used a magical art that all secret Dao Realm disciples in Tianmen Province could use. Cloud Lion Roar, however. The Cloud Lion Roar he unleashed took the form of a 10-meter-long lion. With Xiao Yunbai's full strength, the lion leaped forward and bit down on the sword beam with its sharp fangs. Clang! The sword light was filled with a domineering aura, but it was crushed by the lion. The sword chi scattered, and the lion leaped in front of Zuo Li. Junior Apprentice Brother, thank you for letting me win. Zuo Li decisively cupped his fists and admitted defeat. At the same level, he still wasn't Xiao Yunbai's match. He returned to his seat on the right. Stomp! An expert from Tianmen Province flew out from the main stage and continued to challenge Xiao Yunbai. But he still couldn't take a single move from Xiao Yunbai. The other experts were all at the same level as Qi Xinshui and Qiulinji. None of them were Xiao Yunbai's match. Senior Apprentice Brother. In just a short while, several people had been defeated by a Xiao Yunbai's sword. Just as more experts were about to give it a try, a woman descended from the heavens. Xiao Yinbai was surprised. He looked at the woman and said, "Lu Lan, junior apprentice sister Lu." 6 Lan, it was as though the banquet had arrived. Everyone was staring at and discussing Lu Lan. Most of them were talking about her beauty, but there were also people discussing her background and strength. All in all, she had only been in Tianmen province for 6 years. Had she reached the 9th tier of the Dharma Cave state in less than 10 years? It was already a miracle that she was able to reach level 9 of the Secret Path realm. Could it be that this woman had defied the heavens? It was especially so for the envoys from the Zhao kingdom. Both Lord Pang and Shan Huangqi seemed to be paying attention to Lu Lan. Among the higher-ups of Tianmen province, the leader of the Jade Heron tribe and the Heaven Gate Saint Emperor seemed to be having a private conversation. Lu Ming's smug look. Su Fang came back to his senses. He might be very surprised, but he was looking forward to seeing Lu Lan's true strength. Everyone had their own fortuitous encounters. Lu Lan had been hailed as the #1 prodigy since she was young and was a proud daughter of heaven. She must have some outstanding points, and the Lu clan would be a formidable enemy of the Su family in the future. He wanted to see what kind of hidden depths this proud daughter of heaven had. He had also seen Lu Ming standing near the higher-ups and standing out like a crane among chickens. It seemed like Lu Ming had become more presentable after following Lu Lan. It was unknown where Lu Lan got her confidence from, but she dared to exchange moves with Xiao Yinbai. Senior brother, junior sister is courteous. Senior brother doesn't have to show mercy to junior sister. Junior sister, be careful. Both of them were from the same Dao Hall. Xiao Yinbai wasn't the only one who was surprised. The rest of the people were also puzzled. During the banquet, it was rare for geniuses from the same Dao Hall to compete. Xiao Yinbai didn't hold back. He was able to come here because he wanted to be noticed by the envoys from the Zhao Kingdom and the Heaven Gates Saint Emperor to see his talent. Hence, he couldn't give up this great opportunity just because of a woman. Right now, he didn't even release his aura presence. He congealed an ordinary cloud lion's roar and pounced towards Lu Lan. Lu Lan looked weak and frail, and it was hard for her skinny body to burst out with power. However, everyone was wrong. She might not have formed any seals, but when she waved her hand, cold air appeared and turned into chains. Boom! The cold air chains lashed onto the tyrannical cloud lion's roar, and the cloud lion's roar was immediately frozen. The cold ice chains returned to Lu Lan's surroundings. She didn't form any seals and didn't release any aura presence. Xiao Yinbai was shocked. This junior sister, could you have grasped a divine ability? The chains around Lu Lan turned into formless cold air again. That's right. I was fortunate enough to obtain a divine ability inheritance. I directly cultivated the divine ability art and didn't cultivate any sorcery. Divine ability, once she said this, it was like a rolling thunder. Not only was Xiao Yinbai shocked, but all the disciples and experts from Tianmen province were also shocked. Even the leaders and higher-ups of the Jade Heron division didn't expect Lu Lan to have grasped a divine ability. Amazed the world with a single brilliant feat, the envoys from the Zhao kingdom were also having a discussion. From their expressions, it could be seen that they didn't believe Lu Lan had grasped a divine ability. Sorcery required the formation of seals, and it mainly came from one's own spirit power. Divine abilities were different. Part of it came from sorcery, and part of it came from the unfathomable nature. What was unfathomable? Heaven fire, heaven thunder, and any power of nature were unfathomable. Cultivators cultivated to grasp divine abilities and comprehend the power of nature. Right now, everyone had the same question in their minds. How was Lu Lan able to grasp a divine ability? Lu Lan, it's no wonder you came looking for me personally to take revenge for Lu Feng. So you have such methods. At this moment, Su Feng finally realized how powerful Lu Lan was. Right now, Lu Lan was like the bright moon in the night sky. Everyone only had her in their eyes. Junior sister is indeed a rare genius in our Jade Heron training ground. Just based on the fact that junior sister has grasped a divine ability, senior brother will admit defeat. Who knew that Xiao Yanbai would leave without a fight? Even if he couldn't grasp a divine ability with his strength, he could still use his advantage in cultivation to defeat Lu Lan. However, he didn't do so. He could see Lu Lan's potential, and it was better for him not to have any conflict with her. This girl is not bad. Greetings. Suddenly, there was a commotion from one of the seats. A muscular man in armor flew out and landed on the ground, emitting an aura of 500 kilograms. There were still some people who weren't resigned and wanted to take advantage of Lu Lan's short cultivation time to steal her limelight and obtain the reward from the Zhao Kingdom's envoy. Watch my mighty tyrant palm wind. The muscular man's aura burst out, and he was actually an expert at the 8th level of the Dharma Hole realm. As he exerted his strength, cracking sounds could be heard from his bones to his joints. He then sprinted straight for Lu Lan. When his right hand struck out with a large amount of force, it turned into an astonishing palm shadow. With the momentum of Mount Tai, he wanted to defeat Lu Lan. Go! Lu Lan had just released her aura and sent out waves of force. It turned out that she was at the 6th level of the Dharma Hole realm. The formless cold air was like a long river. With a point of Lu Lan's finger, it swept towards the incoming palm shadow. That palm shadow was immediately sealed in ice and was soon surrounded by the cold air. Ka. A cold ice sword chi condensed and instantly pierced through a hole in the palm shadow. Bang! The cold ice sword chi pierced the muscular man's armor. The muscular man didn't know what happened, but his entire body was covered in a layer of cold air. He lost his balance and was sent flying by the cold air. You are not a match for me. An even more divine ability appeared. Lu Lan actually didn't use any artifacts or magic arts. She simply floated in the air along with the cold air and looked down at the muscular man who was struggling on the ground. She didn't have any intention to make a move. All right, watch the reward. The 4th envoy from the Zhao nation shouted loudly. Immediately, an expert flew out and handed an empty bag to Lu Lan in front of everyone while shouting in all directions. Lu Lan bowed to the envoy from the Zhao nation and kept the empty bag. She then looked around and asked, "Is there anyone else who wants to give it a try? Who would dare to go up?" An expert at the 8th level of the Dharma Hole realm was easily defeated by her divine ability. Even an expert at the 9th level might not be able to defeat Lu Lan. Furthermore, anyone with discerning eyes could see that she had gained the favor of the envoy from the Zhao nation. Who would dare to go up and take her punishment? The opportunity is here. There might be people who wanted to go up and fight with Lu Lan, but they didn't have the guts to do so. However, no one expected that Su Fong would actually walk out silently. Many people thought that Su Fong was going to do something and didn't pay much attention at first. However, when he flew towards Lu Lan from the rostrum, everyone knew of his motive. Junior brother Su is going. Yu Junqi, Lin Zhan, and the others were confused. Qiu Lingji, who was sitting behind Yang Zhongjue, immediately knitted her brows. She didn't expect Su Fong to go up at this moment. It was obvious that he wanted to challenge Lu Lan. Was he a match for him? Tu Yuya looked at Yang Zhongjue, but Yang Zhongjue spoke first. Junior brother, isn't this Su Fong from our dojo? Tu Yuya said, "It is him." Previously, he had hidden himself and performed meritorious deeds twice. The leader knew about it, but we didn't expect him to challenge Lu Lan. Then let's see how this person performs. Our dojo has been lacking talents for the past few years. Yang Zhongjue nodded and said, however, with his secret Dao realm cultivation, he is naturally not a match for Lu Lan. Tuyuya had some doubts. Su Fong, you are a reckless fellow. I hope that Junior's sister won't be polite and will chop him into pieces. Anyway, he is courting death. On the other side, among the experts from the Jade Heron Dojo, Lu Ming's eyes flickered with a sinister and complacent gaze. He was waiting for Su Fong to be taught a lesson by Lu Lan. It seemed like he still remembered how Su Fong stole his spotlight during the summit tournament. He could let Lu Lan take his revenge today. In the plaza, when Lu Lan saw Su Fong flying over, the killing intent in his heart was ignited. Junior brother Su, I will not be polite. After Su Fong landed, he looked indifferently and said, Lulan, I will not be polite either. You are courting death. When enemies met, their eyes would turn red. Lulan burst out with his 6th level aura and sent a cold light at Su Fong. Su Fong also burst out with his aura and displayed his 9th level secret Dao realm cultivation in front of everyone. I didn't expect Su Fong to step into the 9th level secret Dao realm from the 1st level within a year. Although it was nothing compared to Lu Lan, Tu Yuya, Qiu Lungji, and Qi Xinshui were all in disbelief at Su Fong's cultivation. Moreover, from what they knew, Su Fong was only at the 1st level of the secret Dao realm. Normally, he would only be at the 2nd level of the secret Dao realm. No matter how much of a genius he would only be at the 3rd level. However, he actually reached the 9th level secret Dao realm in a year. Even Yang Zhongdue, Ho Ping, and the other upper echelons were attracted by Su Fong. Lu Lan might be the favored daughter of the emperor, but Su Fong wasn't any different. Both of them were geniuses among geniuses. Lu Lan was also very surprised. So you are so incredible to be able to step into the 9th level secret Dao realm in a few years. Back then, you were a cripple. However, are you able to challenge me? You are gravely mistaken. Not. Su Fong executed several seals and looked at the cold light that was approaching. Some demonic aura actually surged out from his skin, making Su Fong look like a demonic Dao monster in the plaza. As expected, Luo Mushue smiled with surprise. Demonic Dao. Countless people trembled and cried out in alarm. Even Lu Lan was so shocked that she took a step back. She might be powerful, but she was naturally afraid of demonic aura. On the rostrum, Yang Zhongjue couldn't help but shake his head. This child is actually able to control demonic aura? Chapter 74. Tu Yuye, Qi Xinshui, and Qiulingji were all shocked. Demonic aura was the nemesis of humans. It was also the power that humans feared the most. Even the emissary from the Zhao nation revealed a curious gaze. Although the so-called sparring in front of them was just a formality, if they really found a good seedling, they would naturally pay attention to it. Lord Pang from the Yu Palace nodded towards Shun Huanqi. Brother Shun, this secret Dao Realm kid is not bad. It is my first time seeing him control demonic aura. Interesting. He is a talent. Shun Huanqi was also surprised. It was obvious that Su Fong's performance was out of his expectations. Prefecture Lord. At the center of the rostrum at the back, Ho Ping suddenly leaned towards the high and mighty heaven gates Saint Emperor, whose aura was even stronger than the emissary from the Zhao nation. The heaven gates Saint Emperor said, I didn't expect so many excellent seedlings to be born under me, especially Lu Lan and this seedling named Su Fong. Ho Ping, who was in the upper echelon of the prefecture, said, My lord, what a coincidence. Lu Lan and Su Fong both came from the same place, Tianzong City, which is where the Violet Fortune Kingdom used to be. Lu Lan joined the prefecture earlier, while Su Fong joined 3 years later. Tianzong City is indeed a place filled with outstanding talents. Back then, the Violet Fortune Kingdom used to be a tyrant, but they encountered the Zhao nation. This seedling named Su Fong is very interesting. After the banquet ends, I want to meet him personally. Yes. Ho Ping returned his seat and sat up straight. At this moment, Luo Mushue, who was not far away, seemed to have heard the conversation between the prefecture lord of Tianmen province and Ho Ping. She still remained silent. Even if you can control demonic aura, you are still not a match for my cold light. In the center of the plaza, the banquet had just started, and everyone was watching the two seedlings fight with great interest. It was too shocking for them. Lu Lan's aura was even stronger, and he couldn't wait to kill Su Fong. Su Fong chose to dodge. When he saw the cold light was about to kill him, he used the special spirit energy that was fused with demonic aura and left behind an aura field. He then leaped away. Boom! The aura field was instantly shattered by the cold light. Lu Lan turned to the side and stared at Su Fong, who had landed on the ground. With a flash, a sword aura that was condensed from cold air appeared in his hand. With a speed that surpassed Su Fang's speed, the sword aura pierced towards Su Fang's neck. You couldn't deal with me last time, so don't even think about it this time. Lu Lan closed in step by step, and Su Fang no longer had any place to dodge. He immediately formed hand seals and released quite a number of demonic aura sword chis. They seemed to be from the Phantom Sword Extreme art, but they were very different. They were just ordinary sword chis. When they combined together, they swept towards Lu Lan. Su Fang was pleasantly surprised. Xian Huang, you have done well this time. It was you who extracted Dao Wuyang's demonic aura and fused it with the Yang Qi in my body, allowing me to have a unique energy that has reached a very high level in the Dharma Cave realm. I can barely contend against Lu Lan. Master, but it is impossible for you to defeat her unless you let Xian Huang use more demonic aura. Xuan Huang's voice echoed in Su Fang's mind. I am just a weakling in the secret Dao realm, and it is already not bad for me to be able to control a portion of the demonic aura. If I control too much, it will inevitably arouse the suspicion of others. I have to execute an even more formidable spell. Otherwise, I will not be able to obstruct Lu Lan. My objective is to display my prowess in front of the higher-ups and not to compete with Lu Lan. Pa! Pa! Just as Su Fang finished speaking, a large number of sword chis clashed with the cold ice sword chis released by Lu Lan. The amount of sword chis was just enough to act as a smokescreen. Su Fang took the opportunity to dodge and went to a more spacious area. Lu Lan was too powerful, and when the cold air shook, all the sword chis vanished. When she turned around, the sword chis in her hand turned into cold ice shackles. You don't have the chance this time. You want to kill me. Su Fang immediately formed a hand seal. Right now, he was going to execute a spell that could obstruct Lu Lan and stall for time. Demonic Fiend Defense. The 9-yang true qi in his body started to coordinate with the demonic aura condensed from the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. With Su Fang as the center, the surrounding demonic aura formed into the shape of a pagoda, suppressing him within. After discussing with Xianhuang, this spell was created by combining the demonic aura and the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. It was considered a superficial spell, but it was enough to make good use of the demonic aura to defend and protect himself. Demonic Pagoda or Demonic Art. The pagoda with the soaring demonic aura suppressed Su Fang within. The demonic aura was heaven-defying, as though the entire soaring feather peak was condensed by the demonic aura. Everyone felt goosebumps and shivered. On the rostrum, the Heavenly Gate's Saint Emperor was also praising, brilliant beyond compare. Furthermore, this Su Fang is very smart. His cultivation is far inferior to Lu Lan's, but he used the demonic aura to restrain Lu Lan's power. Demonic aura is hard to suppress. After living for so many years, I have never seen a human who could control the demonic aura. It seems like this Su Fang had obtained some kind of power from the demonic race, allowing him to fuse with the demonic aura and cultivate human martial arts. Ho Ping continued with a sigh. Pa! 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 The cold ice shackles that Lu Lan brandished struck the demonic aura pagoda with great force. Her strength was indeed much stronger than Su Fang, and a single strike tore apart the defense of the demonic aura pagoda. It was just that the demonic aura pagoda had condensed in time, and the demonic aura had restrained the cold ice shackles released by the ice shackles. Therefore, Lu Lan was unable to completely disperse the demonic aura, which gave Su Fang time to condense his defense. The cold ice shackles seemed to have come back to life as they split into a few strands and attacked the demonic aura pagoda. The situation was too disadvantageous for Su Fang, and the only thing that allowed him to persevere was the demonic aura. Lu Lan was also afraid of the demonic aura and didn't dare to get too close. She pondered in her heart, I didn't expect Su Fang to have such a fortuitous encounter. I can kill him, but I will have to execute an even stronger attack. However, I'm afraid that even if I execute it, I won't be able to kill Su Fang. When the higher-ups see that he has such a method, they will definitely stop me from killing him. Therefore, it's better for me not to use my full strength. It's better for me to reveal my true strength. As expected, the two of them couldn't do anything to each other, but it was obvious that Su Fong was in a disadvantageous situation. Ho Ping came to the front of the rostrum and said, "Both of you are the geniuses of Tianmen province. It would be meaningless to continue fighting." Coincidentally, there was a way out, and also an opportunity. Su Fong raised his voice and said, "I am willing to admit defeat." Swish, swish. Lulan immediately withdrew her cold ice shackles. With the ice shackles gone, she became even colder and had an unknown feeling in her heart. Cough, cough. After suppressing the demonic aura and disappearing the pagoda's defense, Su Fong was gasping for breath. It seemed like it wasn't easy for him. Shun Huangqi stood up and applauded the two of them in front of everyone. Lulan, Su Fong, the two of you are the geniuses of the present age. Reward them with 10 artifacts and 100 meridian activation elixirs. When the two of them handed the 2 empty bags to the two of them, the envoy congratulated them in front of everyone. At this moment, many people were envious. On the rostrum, the Heaven Gates, Saint Emperor raised his hand and said, "The two of you are Yang Wei of the prefecture. Reward." Ho Ping announced loudly, "Lulan and Su Fong are rare geniuses. From now on, the two of them will be members of the inner prefecture and will enjoy the personal grooming of the prefecture head." Many thanks to the prefecture head. Lulan and Su Fong bowed on the spot. On the rostrum, Yang Zhongjue called Qiu Lungji and Qi Xinshui over. "Didn't the two of you realize that Su Fong has such potential?" Qiu Lungji said, "During the previous summit tournament, we had already treated him as a key seedling to nurture. In just one short year, I didn't expect his growth to be so astonishing. Ever since he joined the Silver Moon team, his performance has been rather good. However, this child is well versed in the art of concealment." Yang Zhongjue wasn't in a good mood. "Just now, Lord Ho asked me some questions regarding Su Fong, and I almost couldn't answer. In the future, as long as there is a seedling with potential, we will have to pay attention to it early. Don't let such things happen again. Now that Su Fong has been allowed to enter the inner prefecture, he is no longer a member of the Flying Feather Army. Inner prefecture, no, one would have thought that an ordinary disciple would be able to amaze everyone at the once-in-a-decade prefecture banquet in Tianmen province and enter the most powerful inner prefecture. Su Fong, don't be complacent. You killed a member of the Liu clan. I will settle this score with you sooner or later." After arriving at the rostrum and receiving an audience with the higher-ups, as well as the emissary from the Zhao nation, Lulan shot a cold glance at Su Fong before he left. Su Fong smiled faintly. Life was full of ups and downs. It wasn't time yet. Only 6 years had passed since he left Tianzong City. In these 6 years, he had almost surpassed Lulan. In another 4 years, it would be 10 years later. By then, he would definitely surpass Lulan. The banquet continued, but most people were still discussing the battle scene. It wasn't until dusk that all the disciples started to disperse. The emissary from the Zhao nation and the higher-ups from the Tianmen province stayed behind. Apart from Yang Zhongjue, Tu Yi, Qiu Lungji, Qi Xinshui, and the others, Su Fong also stayed behind. This was Ho Ping's idea. As he was now a member of the inner prefecture, he was considered one of the higher-ups in Tianmen province. However, he was just going through the motions and had been standing at the edge. He was the one who did all the chores. At this moment, all the cave masters and emissaries from the Zhao nation were gathered at the rostrum. The emissaries from the Zhao nation were asking the cave masters about the current situation in their respective territories. Su Fong secretly realized that Shun Huangqi and Luo Muxiue were acting like they weren't familiar with each other. However, the relationship between the two of them wasn't normal. It wasn't until late at night that Ho Ping and the others led the emissary from the Zhao nation back to the inner prefecture to rest. The higher-ups also gradually dispersed. Su Fong, you have really made my Flying Feather Dao sect proud this time. Military Strategy Hall. Tu Yi and Qiu Lingji, were sizing up Su Fong. They also asked Su Fong to sit down. At this moment, his status was no longer an ordinary disciple. Tu Yi was full of praises. You were rewarded by the prefecture lord and the emissary from the Zhao nation. This means that you won't be one of the higher-ups in Tianmen province in the future. Then, you might go to the Zhao nation to serve the empire. Tianmen province often has talents that are absorbed by the Zhao nation. Yi Yin was apologetic. It's not easy for me to have such an opportunity to become outstanding. Thus, I have been cultivating hard in secret. Please forgive me for my difficulties. Tu Yi nodded. Everyone is working hard. No matter if it's a Dao sect or a cave abode, everyone has their own secrets. Anyway, since you came out from the Flying Feather Dao sect, it means that you have made a name for the Flying Feather Dao sect. You should go back and rest first. In a few days, the Mu Prefecture will issue a transfer order, and you will go to the inner prefecture to serve. Su Fong stood up and bowed. Then, he quickly left the military strategy hall. In the main hall, Qiu Lingji looked at Tu Yi. Senior brother, the emissary and the prefecture lord are going to discuss how to deal with the Heavenly Jade Mountain. I'm afraid that my Flying Feather Army will have to take the lead again. This matter is still being planned. The Heavenly Jade Mountain is the representative of many rebel factions. If they really want to take action against the Emperor of Feathers, it won't be a matter of 1 or 2 years. Tu Yi shook his head. This matter is still in a confidential state. We have to keep it a secret. Ascending Feather Palace, the bright moon hung high in the sky. Su Fong stood in the courtyard. At this moment, he really felt a sense of relief. I didn't expect that I would be chosen by the Tianmen Holy Emperor and be transferred to the inner prefecture. There's a higher possibility of investigating the murderer who murdered my father. However, this matter isn't simple. If it's related to the Emperor of Yu, even if I work in the Mu Prefecture, I won't be able to become Ho Ping's trusted aide. At least my identity is different now. I can use this identity to let Su Yin, Su Yi, and the others receive special training. After returning to his room, he only calmed down after a long time. After eating a piece of fire snake fruit and a meridian relaxation pill, his body began to cleanse again. He tried to break through to the Dharma Insight realm. At that time, he would be able to control magic treasures and step on flying swords. Chapter 75. After the banquet, a large number of disciples from the Flying Feather Dojo came to congratulate Su Fong. Now, he was considered a real figure in Tianmen province. Su Fong, on the other hand, was focused on breaking through to the 10th stage of the Secret Path realm. A few days later, the transfer order arrived at the Military Council Hall. Military Council Hall Yang Zhongjue brought Tuya and a few other higher-ups and announced the transfer order in front of everyone. Su Fong, the transfer order is here. From now on, you're a member of the Inner Sanctum and will serve the Inner Sanctum. Your cultivation will also revolve around the Inner Sanctum. Immediately report to the Inner Sanctum. This disciple will not let down the Flying Feather Dojo's nurturing. Leader, please rest assured that this disciple will still serve the Flying Feather Army. Su Fong bowed to Yang Zhongjue and the other higher-ups. Under everyone's gazes, Su Fong followed Tu Yuya and left the Flying Feather Peak. Inner Sanctum, this was the second most majestic mountain peak in Tianmen province. The Inner Sanctum was led by the sky-bearing Saint Emperor, and it was led by many dojos. Any transfer order or mission in Tianmen province would have to go through the Inner Sanctum. In front of the plaza, a few experts from the Inner Sanctum were waiting. Su Fong followed Tu Yuya to the plaza and was led to the Inner Sanctum by a few people. Su Fong had been to the Inner Sanctum a few times. Although he had never entered, he had seen many of the Inner Sanctum's disciples. The Inner Sanctum's disciples were all at the Dharma Hole realm, and they remembered Su Fong as a prodigy with an outstanding performance during this banquet. Lulan, I really met you. After getting to know more experts, he stepped into the main hall. Not only did he see Ho Ping, but he also saw a few other higher-ups who had a strict aura and held great authority. He also saw Lulan. Lulan had also received the transfer order like him and was officially reporting to the inner sanctum today. Lulan, Su Fong, the two of you performed outstandingly during this banquet. The prefecture lord also praised the two of you. From today onwards, you will be a member of the inner sanctum. Ho Ping was the representative of the upper echelon, sizing up the two of them. The inner sanctum controls all of the Taoist temples and is responsible for all aspects of the sect, as well as dealing with all of the immortals' caves. Once you become a member of the inner sanctum, you and your clan will receive special treatment. You've only been in the inner sanctum for a few years, so we don't plan on giving you any missions outside of the sanctum. You'll be in charge of dealing with the various Taoist temples, patrolling, and registering the missions that the Taoist temples carry out. When Ho Ping finished speaking, someone took out a new token and handed it over to Lu Lan and Su Fong while keeping the old token. Ho Ping called over a man beside him. Chu Zifeng, you'll be in charge of taking care of these two newcomers for the next few years. Of him, senior brother Chu. Su Fong bowed to Chu Zifeng first. Chu Zifeng nodded and immediately looked at Lu Lan. Lu Lan nodded slightly, but Chu Zifeng was the first to respond. Seeing this, Su Fong smiled faintly and thought to herself, Lu Lan. Even an expert like Chu Zifeng will have to give her face. Who asked Lu Lan to have a relationship with the Zhao kingdom? Chu Zifeng immediately brought the two of them to the second floor. There were a few layers of array spaces here. Chu Zifeng briefly introduced the inner sanctum and found out that there weren't many disciples in the inner sanctum. There were only about 30 of them. Although there weren't many disciples, they were all elites among elites. For example, Chu Zifeng was at the 10th stage of the Dharma Hole realm. The inner sanctum had 3 levels. The first level was responsible for reception. The second level was responsible for the internal affairs of Tianmen province. The third level was for the affairs between the inner sanctum and the Zhao kingdom. There were only a few people who could go to the third level, and they were all at the divine power realm. Su Fong sighed in her heart. If the mission that her father carried out was related to the king of Yu, then only divine power realm experts or people who could enter the third level would know what the mission was. People like Chu Zifeng probably didn't have the qualifications to know. It is almost impossible for me to find out about the mission from the inner sanctum unless I reach the divine power realm. Since the king of Yu is the current imperial prince, the Heaven Gate's Saint Emperor must have personally come into contact with him. Therefore, there are probably not many people who truly know about the mission. She was thinking about how to find out about the mission from the past. After thinking about it, she felt that it was almost impossible. This was a secret between the Heaven Gate's Saint Emperor and the Zhao Kingdom. How could the people below know about it so easily? Su Fong, you will be in charge of the affairs of the Flying Dragon Division and the Flying Feather Division during this period. Understand the overall situation of the two divisions. In the afternoon, after Chu Zifeng's introduction, the day finally ended. Profound Wind Hall, located halfway up the mountain to the left of the plaza, there were several palaces here, and the Profound Wind Hall was the palace where Su Fong cultivated in the inner sanctum. Compared to the Feather Ascension Hall, the Profound Wind Hall had 3 floors, and its area was much larger. Everywhere was inlaid with gems, and each floor was inlaid with 3 spirit stones. This was a treatment that the Feather Ascension Hall did not have. This time, I received Shun Huanqi's reward. There are 10 more magic weapons and several flying swords. Although they're all spirit treasures, their quality is very good. The Zhao Kingdom's treasures really are the best. Inside the pavilion, Su Fong was currently tidying up the items. Properly categorizing the treasures, she placed them into an empty bag. The next day, Flying Feather Dojo, Military Council Hall closed to noon. Su Fong returned to the Military Council Hall as an inner sanctum disciple. She had come to carry out official business. Junior apprentice Brother Su. After killing Han Yuetian, the Crimson Swallow Emperor's troops also withdrew from the Star Dual Sandplains. Currently, we plan to continue to eliminate several other groups of bandits. Tu Yuya and Su Fong sat side by side. As if she was talking to an equal, She very politely introduced the Flying Feather Army's recent situation. After many battles these past few years, my Flying Feather Army needs to replenish its manpower. We plan to transfer 30 people from other dojos to cultivate. Su Fong recorded everything. When afternoon came, Su Fong said, "Senior apprentice brother, this one has a personal matter to trouble you with. Junior apprentice brother, don't be so polite. Although you went to the inner sanctum, you are still a member of my Flying Feather Army." Tuyuya also hoped that Su Fong would interact with the Flying Feather Army. This way, many things would be easier to resolve and communicate. My family Su still has 6 seedlings cultivating in other dojos. Some of them have already broken through to the secret path realm in the past 7 years. I just have to trouble Senior Apprentice Brother to transfer 2 of them to my Flying Feather Dojo to cultivate. This way, I could be at ease. It turned out that Su Fong wanted to start cultivating the seedlings of his family Su. He even praised Su Yin and the others in front of Tuyuya. Indeed, these few people had taken a large number of channel relaxation pills. They had already surpassed the ordinary seedlings, and their cultivation levels were also rising steadily. Overall, they were almost at the secret path realm, although they were still a little lacking compared to geniuses like Lu Ming. With a large number of channel relaxation pills in the future, they would catch up to Lu Ming sooner or later. Tuyuya immediately agreed. "Junior apprentice brother, don't worry. I will get someone to take care of this matter. It just so happens that our criteria for selecting talents here is also the secret path realm. You know this is a small matter." "Thank you, Senior apprentice brother. This one still has to go to the Flying Dragon tribe. I will visit you again in a few days." Su Fong bade farewell to the military council hall and flew to the Flying Dragon tribe, which was just a mountain away. This time at the Flying Dragon dojo, Su Fong saw an old acquaintance. It was Li Yuandong, who also came from Tianzong City. Other than him, there were 2 other seedlings from the Lu family. The 3 of them did not seem to know that Su Fong had become an insider. Ordinary disciples, like them, were not qualified to know what happened at the banquet in Tianmen province. Of course, he also met Lu Piaoran, who he had fought against at the tournament. This person was a member of the Flying Dragon Army. He already knew about Su Fong's amazing performance at the banquet. Now, he was a famous figure. Seeing Su Fong again made Lu Piaoran feel that it was too surreal. A year ago, he was just an ordinary disciple like him. Who knew that he would become an insider's disciple now? A few days passed. Inside the Hall of Secrets, the central array spaced deep in the first floor. It was Su Fong's first time here. Only people like Chu Zifeng could enter, and Su Fong was still a newcomer. When Su Fong saw Ho Ping, he immediately bowed. "Sir, you called Su Fong here. Do you have any instructions for me?" Ho Ping said, "The prefecture master wants to see you." "Prefecture master?" Su Fong was stunned. He really did not believe that the Tianmen Saint Emperor wanted to see him. "The prefecture master has used his supreme ability, condensing his will to come here. Although this is not his main body, it is still equivalent to the prefecture master." "Wait a moment." Ho Ping struck a hand seal. The empty array barrier behind him slowly glowed with spiritual light. He then looked at Su Fong. "Your performance this time was outstanding, so you were able to receive the prefecture master's summons." Su Fong maintained his composure, but he was still somewhat alarmed. Originally at the Star Duel's sand plains, Dao Wuyong and the Tianmen Saint Emperor exchanged blows. Even the fox demons from the southern border were injured by the Tianmen Saint Emperor. This person was indeed powerful. Even the fox demons said he was unfathomable. Facing this kind of absolute overlord, who could maintain a calm heart. The array's spiritual light slowly condensed. A figure appeared from within. It was the Tianmen Saint Emperor. In his mind, Su Fong's worries drew mysterious yellow's reminder. "Master, this Tianmen Saint Emperor already possesses a certain ability in the aspect of primordial spirit. He can separate his primordial spirit from his body. This is equivalent to his soul speaking to you, as expected of the overlord of the present age." This was an ability that Su Fong did not even dare to imagine. Su Fang bowed. Lord Prefecture Master, no need for formalities. The lifelike Tianmin Saint Emperor calmly nodded. This time at the prefecture banquet, you allowed this lord to see your extraordinariness. Tianmin province is extremely fortunate to have a genius like you, Su Fang said. Without Tianmin province's nurturing, there would be no Su Fang today. Ho Ping, in a moment, issue a decree to Tianzong City. From now on, the family Su is Tianzong City's #1 family. In the future, the family Su seedlings can go to Tianmin province to cultivate at any time. The family Su seedlings also need to be properly nurtured. Yes, many thanks, Prefecture Master. It is not easy to have a good seedling. Su Fang, you still need to cultivate diligently. Just this bit of cultivation is still not enough to establish yourself in Tianmin province. The Tianmin Saint Emperor issued a decree, and the figure instantly dispersed. Farewell, Prefecture Master. Ho Ping immediately bowed. The formation quickly returned to normal, and the Tianmin Saint Emperor was nowhere to be seen. Ho Ping sat down and said, the decree will be sent to Tianzong City within a month. Su Fang, you have already brought honor to your family, Su. In this vast territory, there are definitely no more than 3 families that can receive a decree personally sent by the Prefecture Master. And your family Su has this decree, which is equivalent to a protective talisman given by Tianmin Province. Even the immortal caves have to give face to this decree. This disciple will not disappoint Prefecture Master. Indeed, as Ho Ping said, the significance of this decree was extraordinary. It was enough to change the family Su's current situation. After leaving the formation space, Su Fang's heart was still unable to calm down. There was no such thing as a free lunch in the world. Sooner or later, he would have to return what he took from others. Xianfeng Palace, the Tianmin Saint Emperor, is too unfathomable. In the process of breaking through to the 10th level of the secret passage, Su Fang was thinking about what happened today. He suddenly felt that it was not a good thing. In the future, if I do something that goes against Tianmin province, won't the Tianmin Saint Emperor grab hold of my weakness, and the Tianmin province can threaten my family, Su, at any time? The more he thought about it, the more uneasy he felt. It seemed that in front of the Tianmin Saint Emperor, he could not compare at all. Hoo-hoo! Suddenly, a gust of wind and sound waves appeared in the deep space outside the palace. Su Fang immediately stopped cultivating. Author's words. My new book is already 30,000 words. According to the website's regulations, 20,000 words should be placed on the VIP shelves. I'm still fighting for more free words. I have to be busy on Monday. Chapter 76. When Su Fang walked out of the hall, he saw Crane Fairy by Ling landing on the ground. Luo Muxue also flew towards him like a fairy. Lord! Su Fang was confused, wondering why Luo Muxue came this time. After thinking for a while, he wondered if Shan Huangqi was going to give the order to transfer him to Zhao country to serve King Lang. Luo Muxue ordered Bai Ling to guard the door. Su Fang didn't even have a chance to talk to Bai Ling and followed Luo Muxue into the hall. She waved her hand, and a formation enveloped the surroundings. What a magical method! Luo Muxue was indeed a capable warrior under the Tianmin Saint Emperor. Luo Muxue said, I came to see you in the middle of the night because of a sudden change. There will be a transfer order to Tianmin province tomorrow, so I came to inform you. Su Fang was shocked. Could it be that I'm going to Zhao country? Luo Muxue nodded coldly. Yes, it's indeed Zhao country, but there's a change. This time, the transfer order was not given by King Lang, but by King Yu. King Yu? How could it be this person? He was shocked. King Yu gave the transfer order, which meant that King Yu wanted him to serve him. Why not King Lang? Sure enough, there was a change. And in this, he deeply understood that he was just a chess piece that could only be manipulated by others. Su Fang quickly regained his composure. Didn't Lord Shen Huangqi say that he wanted me to serve King Lang? When Lord Shan left Tianmin province last time, he secretly made a preliminary plan with me. When he returned to the Zhao country, He recommended you to the prince and then gave the transfer order. But Lord Shin sent a letter saying that the people he buried around King Yu knew that Pound was the messenger who came on behalf of King Yu. They also recommended you to King Yu, and King Yu agreed. Then, Pound was one step ahead and gave the transfer order to Tianmen province. Luo Mushua analyzed. The change came too suddenly. When the banquet ended, the manor lord received the envoys one by one and sent them off. I didn't know what Pangda said to the manor lord. However, from the news that Lord Shin suddenly sent over, Pangda had already taken a fancy to your potential on the day of the banquet and wanted to recruit you. How did nobody like me catch Pound's eye? Su Fong still couldn't understand. Oh, you, who told you to control demon chi? This is an unheard of existence. Moreover, the King of Yu is famous for being fond of recruiting strange people or collecting rare treasures. Among the 3 great princes of a Zhao country, the King of Yu is the most powerful. Moreover, the 3 great princes have been fighting in private for many years. Each of them has the power to overturn the government and the common people, dominating a region and controlling many forces. For example, Tianmen province may have long become the power of the 3 great princes. Then, this subordinate. Aren't you going to get close to King Yu to find the person who killed your father? Su Fong suddenly understood. My lady, does this mean that Lord Shun has agreed to let me work for the King of Yu? Luo Mushue's gaze suddenly froze. You only need to follow the orders of Tianmen province. My lady's intention is to let you deal with all changes by sticking to the status quo. Since the King of Yu wants to recruit you, you will work for him. It's just right for you to lie low beside the King of Yu. You can also investigate the person who killed your father and use the power of the King of Yu to achieve your goal of revenge. This subordinate understands. I will follow the orders. At this moment, Su Fong was looking forward to working for the King of Yu. This way, he would be able to find the person who killed his father and the family heirloom. Sir Shun's letter also mentioned that King Yu wanted Pound to secretly form a mysterious faction. Sir Shun wants you to do your best to infiltrate that faction. That way, you'll be able to make contributions and slowly come into contact with King Yu. At least from what I can see, King Yu's relationship with King Yu is not ordinary. Your father's death is definitely related to the 2 of them. This is your best chance for revenge, so I won't keep you here. Here's an empty pouch that Sir Shun told me to give you. There's an extremely important jade slip inside. It contains the method to contact Sir Shun after you enter Zhao. Luo Mushue stood up. Under the cover of the night, she gave him instructions one by one. Finally, she placed an empty bag on the table. Su Fong, I'm the one who recommended you to the King of Yu. Although we haven't known each other for a long time, I still hope that you will become a big shot in the future. Be careful everywhere you go. This subordinate will not forget my lady's kindness in recommending me and grooming me. After sending Luo Mushua off, Su Fong was in a daze for a long time. He didn't expect that his life would usher in such a big turning point. The kingdom of Zhao. He was about to step into that world of cultivation. He released the empty bag. Not only was there a jade slip inside, but there were also 300 Dharma whole realm channel relaxation pills and more than a dozen kinds of magical techniques. Shin Huangqi wants to help me step into the Dharma whole realm and step into the transcendent realm step by step. 300 channel relaxation pills was already an astronomical number. Moreover, they were all Dharma whole realm grade. Even Luo Mushue couldn't take out so many high-grade channel relaxation pills. Shun Huangqi took out such a valuable gift because he sincerely wanted to nurture Su Fong. He activated the jade slip again. There were indeed many words inside, but they were all code words in a few locations. This was the way to secretly contact Shun Huangqi when he went to the kingdom of Zhao in the future. Crack. After memorizing it, he crushed the jade slip, not leaving any evidence. Thinking that he was about to go to the kingdom of Zhao, Su Fong didn't sleep for the whole night. He continued to swallow channel relaxation pills and tried to break through to the 10th layer of the secret path. He estimated that he would be able to step into the 10th layer in a short time. The next day, just as Luo Mushue said, Chu Zifeng brought a few people to the profound Wind Palace. He said that there was an important matter, and he had to hurry to the inner palace. When he arrived at the inner palace, Su Feng saw 3 experts in embroidered clothes. Ho Ping immediately introduced them to him. It turned out that the 3 of them were envoys sent by King Yu. After the introduction, a thin man with a pair of sharp eyebrows said, "Su Feng, Lord Pang ordered you to follow us to the kingdom of Zhao immediately. The order has been given to your palace lord." Ho Ping was happy for Su Feng. "Su Feng, the palace lord has already received confirmation. You should quickly go back and prepare. Before noon, you will leave with the 3 lords." After bowing, Su Feng rushed back to the profound Wind Palace. He tidied up, leaving behind an ordinary empty bag. He had Xianhuang absorb the other treasures into the pagoda. "I can't inform cousin and the others. There's also Sister Bai. However, Sister Bai should know about this." After rushing back to the inner palace, before leaving, Su Feng asked Ho Ping to take good care of his family, Su seedlings, in the future. Then, he quickly followed the 3 people to summon their flying swords. He stepped on one of the flying swords and immediately flew into the sky. Tianmen Province's highest mountain, forbidden area. Ho Ping rode his mount to the peak of the mountain and happened to see Tianmen's Saint Emperor gazing into the distance. "Palace Lord," Tianmen's Saint Emperor seemed to be mumbling to himself. "Su Feng is a blank piece of paper to King Yu. If this blank piece of paper is nurtured well, Su Feng will become a sharp sword in his hand in the future. Palace Lord, could it be that you are reluctant to part with this child?" Ho Ping asked curiously. "It's not that I am reluctant to part with him. It's just that Shun Huangqi was once very interested in this child. Now that he is given to King Yu, it will offend King Lang instead. But fortunately, it's just a seedling. I think King Lang won't care too much about this kind of thing. I also don't want to be sandwiched between the 2 great princes. If we provide talents for the great princes in Zhao country, it will also be beneficial to our Tianmen province in the future." The 2 great figures, standing at the peak of Tianmen province, silently communicated like this. "Holy Maiden Peak, brother, when can we meet again? You must come back alive to see me." Xinzi Bai Ling stood on a big tree, watching Su Feng leave. A drop of tears fell from her eyes. As for not far away, Luo Mushue walked in the forest, looking at the sky from time to time. "I've sent another talent to Godfather. I hope Godfather can complete his great task soon so that I can leave this place." In the white clouds, 3 sword rays cut through the sky and flew across the vast land. Su Feng stared behind him. He could no longer see Tianmen Province. Soon, he would leave Tianmen Province's territory and enter the boundless Zhao country. "Wait, Lu Xiong." The man with sword-like eyebrows suddenly waved his hand, and the flying sword immediately slowed down. After a while, a sword aura also flew from the direction of Tianmen Province. A middle-aged man in black rode the flying sword and met up with the 3 masters in the blink of an eye. The man in black cupped his fist to the man with sword-like eyebrows. "Brother Qin, I went to Tianzong City and have already grasped Su Feng's background." "My background?" Su Feng was surprised. He suddenly understood that it was not easy to serve King Yu. Since he wanted to use him, he naturally had to know his background. The man with the surname Qin introduced himself. "I am Qin Xianling, sent by Lord Pang to pick you up. You don't have to panic. This is Lord Pang's order. He just wants to understand your background and family background. Because you are about to serve the great princes, your past must be investigated clearly." "I understand." Su Feng nodded. "Let's continue our journey. We will only reach Zhao country tomorrow afternoon. Before sunset, let's find a place to rest." Qin Xianling led Lu Xiong and the other 3 and rode the flying sword together. He took Su Feng and flew further away. Along the way, they passed by many deserted places. They only stopped when dusk came. In a valley, a bonfire burned. Qin Xianling and Lu Xiong sat on one side. Su Feng was left. The other 2 were responsible for patrolling. These people are so powerful, especially Qin Xianling. I'm afraid he is a transcendent realm master. He did not release any aura from the beginning, so I can't see his cultivation level. The others are a little tired when riding the flying sword, but his breathing is normal. The surroundings were very quiet. Only the crackling of the bonfire could be heard. Bang! Unexpectedly, Su Fong, who was resting and secretly condensing his qi, suddenly felt an impact on his body. 10 layers of energy blew away the bonfire. Even Qin Xianling and Lu Xiong stood up unexpectedly. The two did not get close to Su Fong. Lu Xiong said, "So he broke through to the 10th layer of the secret path? Brother Qin, why would an ordinary cultivator at the 10th layer of the secret path be valued by Lord Pang?" Lord Pang came to the banquet in Tianmen province last time. It seems that he saw something different about this kid. Lu Xiong, you and I are working for Lord Pang. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask, Qin Xianling reminded coldly. Lu Xiong nodded and watched Su Fong's breakthrough with Qin Xianling. Breaking through is too difficult. Luckily, these people are here to take me to Zhao country. If they were enemies, they would have taken the chance to kill me. Su Fong, who was in the middle of breaking through, was scared. He did not feel happy at all. No matter what, he had gone from the 9th layer of the secret path to the 10th layer. He had finally reached the peak of the secret path realm. The next step was to break through to the Dharma opening realm. Once he reached the Dharma opening realm, he would be able to use his Dharma power to control flying swords. He would also be able to use higher-level Dharma spells and Dharma treasures. When the sun rose, Qin Xianling did not care that Su Fong had just broken through to the 10th layer. He gathered the other two and gave each of them a meridian-loosening pill. Then he told Su Fong to prepare to leave. Su Fong secretly ate a fire serpent fruit. Although he looked weak, the 1,000-year-old fire serpent fruit and the meridian-loosening pill gave him unexpected medicinal effects. When he left, he was still in the middle of breaking through. While flying, he could only do his best to control his qi. Chapter 77. More and more cities started to appear on the ground. When Su Fong noticed it, he could clearly feel the spirit qi in this place. He looked into the distance and saw a vast empire. 2 hours later, the state of Zhao suddenly appeared in front of Su Fong. In addition to the surging spiritual qi, there were countless cities located on the ground. The spiritual qi in the world seemed to come from some kind of mysterious energy under the ground of the country of Zhao. It could be a kind of Dharma treasure or a kind of array. Anyway, the spirit qi was stored in the state of Zhao. Not to mention the cultivators, even immortals living here could live to 100 years old. This was the difference between the state of Tianzong and the state of Tianzong. The state of Tianzong didn't have such thick spirit qi. Only the most powerful cultivators could create this kind of spirit qi. Without waiting for Su Fong to come back to his senses, a large city that connected all directions appeared clearly in front of Su Fong as the flying sword slowed down. This is the city of Babao that the emperor gave to the prince. The prince's mansion is in the central city. It is the largest mansion there. After Qin Xianling finished speaking, the 4 flying swords flew towards the central city. The city of Babao wondered there were 8 cities surrounding the central city. The city of Babao was given to the king of Yu by the emperor. It meant that the king of Yu had the power to kill in the city of Babao. He was undoubtedly a small emperor. Su Fong finally understood what it meant to be a prince. No wonder the emperor of Tianzong had to be polite to someone like Pound at the banquet in Tianmen province. If someone offended the prince, the entire Tianmen province could be destroyed in a day. The prince's mansion is so big. It feels like a palace. A luxurious mansion that occupied an area of tens of thousands of acres and was built with city walls shocked Su Fong greatly. Qin Xianling. When he was 10 feet away from the prince's mansion, a dozen warriors in black armor suddenly appeared in the air. They were all at the Dharma cave state. Qin Xianling came to the gate of the prince's mansion. He put away his flying sword and walked into the prince's mansion. Grand style, as soon as they entered the mansion, they saw that the floor was paved with jade stones. Every 3 steps, there would be a gemstone inlaid. Every 100 steps, there would be a spirit stone inlaid. Just think about how many gems and spirit stones are needed for such an area of the prince's mansion. When the state of Zhao destroyed so many nations in the past, the treasures they looted were probably used in these places. He was secretly shocked. Looking around, he could see a group of 10 patrolling soldiers passing by. Outsiders were basically unable to enter unless they were peerless experts. The king's mansion is divided into 3 palaces. The first palace is the outer mansion, the second palace is the inner mansion, and the third palace is the forbidden palace. That is where the king and the crown prince live. Without a summons, apart from the patrolling soldiers, no one is allowed to enter the forbidden palace. We, the guests of the king's mansion, are not considered soldiers, nor are we considered servants. We are the personal guards of the king. Although we are called guests of the king's mansion, we are actually the king's personal guards. The more powerful you are, the higher your status. For example, Lord Pang is someone who can freely enter and leave the forbidden palace. We guests of the king's mansion can only live in the outer mansion. The king's mansion is very large, and we can all enjoy the inner mansion for cultivation and rest. After passing through the high walls, they arrived at an empty space that was close to the plaza. Qin Xianling led them to the various palaces and pavilions. After passing through the corridors, they arrived at the inner part of the king's mansion. They immediately saw many palaces scattered on both sides. Qin Xianling introduced Su Fang to the king's mansion. After passing through several corridors, he led Su Fang to one of the palaces. This is the Cloud Gathering Garden. Lord Pang has given this place to you. In the future, you can cultivate here. Lord Pang will summon you when he has time. If you have any needs, you can find a female servant. If there's anything you don't understand, you can also come find me. The people living in the surrounding palaces are all guests of the king's mansion, like you and me. They all have good relationships with each other, but there are also some infighting. The Cloud Gathering Garden Qin Xianling, Lu Xiong, and the other 2 stopped in front of the main door. After explaining some of the essential information to Su Fang, the 4 of them left. Immediately, 2 female servants appeared from the corridor and bowed to Su Fang. They were responsible for serving Su Fang and leading Su Fang into the Cloud Gathering Garden. The Cloud Gathering Garden only had a 2-story pavilion. There were many potted plants in the courtyard, and it was very elegant and quiet. The interior of the pavilion had already been tidied up. Everywhere, it showed the extravagance of the king's mansion. Gemstones could be seen everywhere. There were about 10 spirit stones embedded in the stairs, doors, and beams. The 2 female servants obediently guarded the main hall. When they saw Su Fang coming down from the 2nd floor, they said, "Lord, if you are dissatisfied with anything, I will rearrange it." "Very good. Here are 2 meridian relaxation pills. Take them." Su Fang grabbed the 2 meridian relaxation pills that belonged to the flesh-body realm and rewarded them to the female servant. "Thank you, Lord, for your reward." The female servant was so happy that she could not close her mouth. In the future, without my permission, you are not allowed to step onto the 2nd floor. If anyone comes to the Cloud Gathering Garden, inform me immediately. Also, make tea for the guests. Yes. After giving the instructions, he went to the 2nd floor. He walked around and came to the window. There were many palaces and pavilions in the outer mansion, but he could not see the inner mansion or the forbidden palace. After swallowing a fire snake fruit and a meridian relaxation pill, he sat cross-legged in front of the window. He immediately activated his Qi and began to condense his Qi to cultivate. After reaching the 10th layer of the secret passage, there was a mysterious feeling of lifting something heavy as if it was light. It was as if he could lift his body off the ground without needing to control it. I am about to reach the Dharma opening realm. Ordinary spells like Cloud Lion Roar and Sword Heart Finger are useless. I can continue to cultivate the ultimate Phantom Sword Art and Dragon Snake Roll, especially the Dragon Snake Roll. Although it is a basic spell, it is very useful. I can also incorporate some changes into it. His body became lighter and lighter, and he began to slowly settle down. Xian Huang's voice appeared in his mind. Master, you can combine some of Xian Huang's seals and turn them into an offensive spell. When combined with Xian Huang's true body, its power will be limitless. It can also draw out Dao Wuliang's power. This way, you won't need to use up your power. After receiving the reminder, he immediately communicated with Xian Huang. He also told Dao Wuliang to listen to Xian Huang's orders at all times. Otherwise, he would have a taste of the demon revealing mirror's power. Heaven's Suppressing Tower. Good. This spell is called that. A few days later, Su Fong suddenly came to the center of the room. During this time, he had learned a lot of seals from Xian Huang. If it weren't for Xian Huang, he wouldn't have been able to use the Xian Huang Six Paths Pagoda. He was currently lacking a powerful offensive spell. After forming the seals, he spat out some energy from his body. As he separated his hands, the energy fused together and transformed into a 3-meter tall pagoda. The pagoda was also 6 stories tall, but its appearance was quite different from the Six Paths Pagoda. It only had a rough outline. Heaven's Suppressing Tower. This was Su Fong's unique spell. Young master, someone just sent an order. Tonight, there will be a banquet at the Gathering Heroes Pavilion. You must be there on time. A maid suddenly called out from downstairs. Stopping his cultivation, he absorbed the Heaven-Suppressing Tower into his palm. After tidying it up, he went to the first floor and called the maid over. He asked, "There are many guests in the prince's residence. I just entered the residence, so I have to be careful not to offend them. Tell me, who are the most powerful people here?" The maid thought for a moment and answered cleverly. "All the guests are under Lord Pound's charge. Sometimes the housekeeper will also come and take a look. Our prince's residence has more than 100 guests. Most of them are transcendent realm experts. Only a few are Dharma Insight realm experts. Only Lord is in the secret path realm, so I can't answer this question." Another maid said, "Lord, there are 6 Vajras among the guests. They were personally appointed by His Highness. The 6 Vajras all have extraordinary abilities. They are the strongest among the guests. Most of them are in the transcendent realm. Then how could he, a secret path realm expert, establish himself here? What a headache." It seemed that even if he came to the prince's residence, he wouldn't be able to become an important person. He would have to make contributions step by step to gain Pound's attention. What are the 6 Vajras? I have to break through to the Dharma Insight realm as soon as possible. Once I reach the Dharma Insight realm, I will have the qualifications to establish a foothold. Also, I heard from Luo Mushue that King Yu wants to establish some faction. She wants me to infiltrate it. After chatting with the maid for a while, he was led by one of them and left Cloud Gathering Garden. Soon, a 2-story red pavilion that was much taller than the palace was located in the center of the outer residence. Juxiong Pavilion. Su Fong asked the maid to wait outside. When he entered the first floor, he first saw the prince's residence guards standing guard in all directions. The hall was very spacious. When he came to the second floor, he saw a large square table. Dozens of guests had arrived early and were drinking tea and chatting. Being here, he felt like he had come to the world of transcendent realm experts. Most of them didn't hide their aura. Their words or even a look was intimidating. To be able to become a guest of the prince's residence and work for King Yu, any one of them was probably as strong as the leader of Tianmen Province's Flying Feather Army, Yang Zhongjue. "You're the newcomer." When he came to the second floor, most of them looked at Su Fong. "Secret Path Realm. He is indeed in the Secret Path Realm. I didn't expect someone in the Secret Path Realm to come here." A few people shook their heads, but no one ignored Su Fong's existence. The prince's residence wasn't a market. To be able to come here, even if he was in the flesh-body realm, he was probably outstanding. Su Fong came to the window and sat down. Immediately, a maid brought over fruits and wine. After sitting for a while, as dusk came, more guests arrived. Su Fong secretly glanced at him. He was indeed too insignificant here. Even with the strength of the guests, King Yu's residence has already crossed Tianmen Province. No wonder King Yu could issue a transfer order and easily ask for people from Tianmen Province. Brother Qin. At this moment, a familiar face appeared, causing many guests to stand up and bow. Qin Xuanling, when he came to the second floor, he also greeted many people. Everyone invited him to sit at the same table, but he chose to sit with Su Fang in the end. When Lu Xiong arrived, he also chose to sit at this table. Although he wasn't familiar with the two, he was still considered acquaintances. Su Fang took the initiative to say a few polite words, while Qin Xianling and Lu Xiong remained silent. After the sky turned dark, Pound arrived at Juxiong Pavilion under the protection of a group of guards. Everyone stood up to welcome him. Other than Pound, there were two other experts. After Lu Xiong introduced them, they were Han Xian and Xue Wujian. Although their status wasn't as high as Pound, they were still important people who often met the prince. Pound, Han Xian, and Xue Wujian sat at the front. There were 6 small tables closest to them, and each table had a person sitting at it. They were obviously the 6 great guardian deities. Su Fang carefully sized up the 6 great guardian deities. Among the 6, there were young, middle-aged, and of course, old men. Their strength was extraordinary, and he couldn't see through them at all. However, if he made a rough comparison, the 6 great guardian deities were at least as strong as Ho Ping. Pound stood up and raised his wine cup. Let's have a casual gathering today. Let's eat and drink well. Thank you, my lord. Everyone also raised their wine cups and drank. Next, there were dancers who went upstairs and performed in the center of the room. Some of the guests were enjoying the singing and dancing, while others were in deep thought and remained silent. There were also people who were good at socializing and would occasionally toast Pound, Han Xian, Xue Wujian, or the 6 great guardian deities. Chapter 78. It was just an ordinary gathering that ended in the wee hours of the morning. Su Fang asked the maidservant and found out that the gathering was held every month, sometimes several times in a row. Pound, Han Xian, and Xue Wujian also sent people to deliver 5 meridian loosening pills. Su Fang did not hesitate and sent someone to tell Pound that he was about to break through to the Dharma opening realm. Before the news came back, a few experts came and took Su Fang away from Cloud Gathering Garden that night. Little brother, I'm sorry, but according to the rules, you need to cover your eyes. Before arriving at the main gate of the inner mansion, the expert took out a black cloth and covered Su Fang's eyes. After that, he could not see anything. Of course, Su Fang's cultivation had improved, and his body had reached the perfect realm. Even if he covered his eyes with a black cloth, he could still see clearly. For example, he could see some vague shadows at this moment, but it was impossible to see clearly. The rules of the Imperial Mansion were far stricter than those of Tianmen Province. If they were so careful with a secret path realm cultivator, wouldn't they be even stricter with a transcendent realm cultivator? He did not know if he had entered the inner mansion or if he was still in the outer mansion. In short, he heard the sound of the gate opening several times. Later, he felt the cold wind, as if he was in an open space. Lord, bring him here. After 2 hours, Su Fang heard the heartbeats of several people. They were not as fast as ordinary people's heartbeats, beating once every few breaths. This meant that there were experts around him. When the black cloth was taken off, he saw Pound at first glance. Beside him stood a young man who was about 27 or 28 years old. He was a jade-faced gentleman with a calm expression. He looked brave and mighty, as if he was number 1 in the universe. The young man was dressed in black, and so was Pound. There were 2 other black-clothed men next to them. The appearance of these 4 people made Su Fang feel that his life was in their hands. If they wanted to kill him, it would be easy unless he summoned the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda or Dao Wuyang. Only then would he have a chance to survive. The young man, who was not only domineering but also had a rich aura, swept his gaze coldly. Lord Peng, this is the talent you found in Tianmen Province. Yes. Pound bowed to the young man and then nodded to Su Fang. Show your ability to the young lord. Young lord? Could he be the son of King Yu? Big shot. After following Peng's instructions, Su Fang saw that he was in a secret chamber and was not afraid of attracting attention. He secretly told Xianhuang to activate the demon odor. Xian Huang then controlled the demon odor to flow into the meridians of Su Fang's right arm. Peng suddenly, under their cold gazes, a shocking demonic qi burst out. Ding demonic aura sighed from Pound and the young man. The surrounding people were so shocked that they took a few steps back before they could stabilize their steps. At first glance, it was not a demon beast, but a human with spiritual power and demon aura. Peak of the 10th layer of the secret passage, releasing this special spirit energy that contains demonic qi. His strength is almost at the 6th or 7th layer of the Law Cave realm. Lord Pang, you have indeed found a genius. The young man's eyes suddenly flashed with a touch of surprise, and he signaled Su Fang to withdraw his aura. Foster father needs this kind of talent. Only those who are at a higher level or have special abilities can work for my mansion. Hearing this, Su Fang's face was expressionless, but there was a wave in his heart. Foster father is indeed the son of King Yu. He is just a foster son, but his status is higher than Pound, Han Xian, and Shui Wujian. Pangda said, "This boy is about to break through the Law Cave realm. After reaching the Law Cave realm, his strength will naturally be comparable to the 9th layer. Although he does not meet the requirements, with his efforts and good training, he will definitely have the strength of divine sense. Moreover, Su Fang is a new face. In the land of Zhao, no one can know his background. This boy has only cultivated for a few years." The young man was silent for a moment. "Okay, this person is a member of Solus. I will continue to secretly search for talents to help young master strengthen Solus. Solus will become the most powerful assassin organization in Zhao and help King Yu get rid of all the obstacles. Su Fang, from now on, you will join Solus and become one of the assassins. Help Foster father get rid of the opponents. When you have made enough contributions, you can become King Yu's man in the future or be given a title. Then you will be the top person in Zhao. I will work hard." Su Fang cupped his fists and said, "In the future, you can call me young master. Follow me through the secret passage to the headquarters of Solus." King Yu's adopted son and Pangda secretly talked for a while. Then, he took Su Fang and Pangda into the secret passage. This time, they did not cover their eyes. After an hour, an expert activated the entrance, and an exit suddenly appeared in front of them. After leaving the secret passage, they found themselves in a luxurious mansion. This was naturally the mansion of an important person. There were all kinds of gems and spirit stones everywhere. Ordinary people would not have this kind of royal aura. This is Lord's Imperial Sky Mansion. Through the royal family's martial arts competition, I competed step by step with experts from all over Zhao. In the end, I stood out and was personally given the title of Imperial Sky Demon General by the current emperor. No one knows that I am related to Foster Father. The mansion was heavily guarded. Even a mosquito would not be able to fly in. After entering a side hall, King Yu's adopted son gave a simple introduction. Su Fang had never imagined that this young man in front of him would be such an existence. He had been given the title of Imperial Sky Demon General by the current emperor. He was an important person in Zhao, and his future was bright. For him to be given the title of Imperial Sky Demon General at such a young age, just what kind of person would he become in the future? At this time, an old man silently walked over. His hair was white, and his back was hunched. "Master, this is the newcomer. He's only at the 10th layer of the secret passage, but he has outstanding ability. Teach him the rules, and then help him reach the Dharma opening realm." The young man coldly instructed the old man. Then, under the protection of the guards, he left the side hall. "I'm the steward of Imperial Sky Mansion. My name is Pulsatilla Wang. In the future, you can just call me Old Man." The old man first asked about Su Fang's background, then sat down and said, "We don't keep trash in our mansion. Just because you're here doesn't mean you can sit back and relax. I don't want to talk too much about other matters. You're here as a member of the Soulless clan. The Grand Prince personally created the Soulless clan to help him get rid of any obstacles. You have 2 tasks to do. First, kill someone. Second, wait to kill someone. Kill someone. Wait to kill someone. While you wait, you need to work hard on your cultivation. I'll give you any energy arts, divine abilities, or magical techniques you want. I'll even give you magical treasures. From the back, the white-haired old man looked like an old man in his 70s, but from the front, he radiated the aura of a powerful expert. Killing people isn't going to be easy, especially people who are stronger than you. I'll teach you how to do that later. The first thing you need to do after entering the mansion is take this medicinal pill. A blood-stained medicinal pill appeared in Pulsatilla Wang's hand. A poison pill. Su Fong looked at it and shivered. It was a highly toxic medicinal pill. Don't worry, Pulsatilla Wang said. It's a slow-acting poison with an antidote. However, only the young lord and the grand prince have access to antidotes. If you dare to betray the grand prince, you'll end up bleeding from your eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. You won't dare to take it. No. Su Fong hesitated for a moment. Actually, he was just putting on an act for Pulsatilla Wang to see. In a situation like this, anyone would hesitate and cower. Crunch. Waving his hand, he swallowed the poison pill and chewed it into his mouth. Then he secretly activated his 3 parasites, which crawled through his muscles toward his neck, where they began to absorb the power of the poisonous pill. Pulsatilla Wang and the Grand Prince were incredibly skilled and had come up with all sorts of methods to control the cultivators under their command. However, none of them could ever have guessed that someone in the secret Dao realm who posed no threat to them would have parasites from the southern frontier. Most of the poisons in this world had no effect on Su Fong. From now on, you're a member of the mansion. Now, follow me into the secret passage. I'll take you to the Soulless headquarters, which isn't far from the Imperial Sky Mansion. Another secret passage? Sure enough, as Pulsatilla Wang turned a vase on the screen at the back of the side hall, the wall where the screen was located opened with a creak. They walked for about 2 hours after entering the secret passage. When they left the secret passage, they seemed to have arrived at the storeroom of a restaurant. They could hear the sound of many people drinking outside. There were all kinds of food in the warehouse. Before Pulsatilla Wang could open the door, a force came from outside. After the door was pushed open, a young woman in her 30s with a plump figure and half-exposed breasts in red appeared gracefully in front of Su Fong and Pulsatilla Wang. They felt like they had suddenly met a brothel keeper. However, the young woman's appearance instantly disappeared. She nodded to Pulsatilla Wang expressionlessly. "Lord," Pulsatilla Wang said, "Emonyang, this is the new Su Fong. I'll leave him to you." "Lord, don't worry." Emonyang nodded. Pulsatilla Wang turned around and opened the entrance of the secret passage. In an instant, he disappeared. "This is the Heavenly Fragrance Market. I'm the proprietress here. Don't just stand there." Emonyang shouted domineeringly. She brought Su Fong out of the warehouse and pointed to the bowls and chopsticks in front of them. "You new here. Clean this place up first. If you can't do it well, you won't be able to eat tonight." Su Fong quickly rolled up his sleeves and started working. The Heavenly Fragrance Market's Soulless should be the force that Shun Huangqi wants me to join. It was established by King Yu. It's like a sharp weapon in King Yu's hands. It can kill people without leaving a trace. King Yu is so experienced. It's too difficult for me to find the enemy who killed my father and find my ancestral magic treasure. However, when I become King Yu's subordinate, there will naturally be opportunities. Since the restaurant was a cover to hide the Soulless headquarters, Su Fong worked honestly. After a day, he became a servant who did odd jobs. He worked until midnight. After the Heavenly Fragrance Market closed for the day, more than 20 servants gathered in the backyard. As for the cooks and the chefs, they all left the Heavenly Fragrance Market. Those people were not soulless people. They were probably controlled by Soulless and had no choice but to work for the Heavenly Fragrance Market. Emonyang still looked travel-worn, but she did not lose the craftiness of a businesswoman. "This is a newcomer. Let's eat." This Emonyang is definitely a terrifying expert. I wonder where King Yu found such a capable person. More than 20 people sat down to eat. No one chatted idly. After eating, a few people stayed behind to guard the house. The rest went to rest. Su Fong followed Emonyang back to the warehouse and entered the secret passage. After a while, they arrived at an underground palace. It was not small. This was the soulless headquarters. They could smell the scent of blood. There were many torture tools in the side rooms. Many walls were stained with blood. Emonyang called out, and 3 masked assassins appeared in the main hall. After meeting Emonyang, they disappeared into the secret passage. It seemed that there were always experts hiding in the dark in this underground passage. Although Soulless was an assassin organization, the division of labor was strict. It was impossible for outsiders to infiltrate Soulless. Each of them was probably an elite who had been arranged by King Yu's residence. They were not like ordinary transcendent artifacts, which had an overbearing aura as soon as they appeared. Seeing that Su Fong didn't have an idea, he said, "I forgot to tell you that these magic weapons all have mechanisms. Most of them contain hidden weapons. You just need to pick the right weapon." He immediately grabbed one of the transcendent artifacts. It's this small knife that looks like a snake. A small silver knife less than a foot long floated in front of Su Fong as he grabbed it. 2 lifelike silver snakes were embedded on both sides of the silver knife. There were 3 tadpole-like characters on the handle. The spirit snake knife. The spirit snake knife is not bad. Look carefully. Emonyang put away the other magic weapons and pointed at the spirit snake knife. The silver snake embedded in the center of the knife could actually be separated from the knife. Just like that, 2 magic weapons appeared. As expected, it was an extraordinary magic weapon. Could this be a magic weapon? When a magic weapon was activated, some spirit chi intertwined with spirit chi appeared. It also had a weak aura of magic power. That's right, this is a low-grade magic weapon. It's something that most Dharma whole realm cultivators would find hard to obtain. Only transcendent realm experts can activate magic weapons. Soulless conditions are very good. Our pills are all extraordinary, and so are our magic weapons. These are resources. Lu Xing, work hard on your cultivation. Although the Soulless is an assassin organization, we are also a family. It is fate that we all came together to work for the Grand Prince. I hope you can activate the spirit snake knife soon. Emonyang stood up. This subordinate will definitely work hard. Hearing Emonyang's last few words, he suddenly felt the helplessness of being an assassin. Everyone was risking their lives to obtain status and power. This was why it was easy for fellow assassins to feel sympathy for each other. Since they were an organization, they couldn't rely on one person. Only by working together would they be able to survive in the end. Several days later, in the Heavenly Fragrance Market, Zhui Ming, go with Lu Xing. He wants to find a secluded place to break through to the Dharma whole realm. You have to ensure his safety. In a restaurant, 2 gray-robed servants were being reprimanded by Emonyang. In truth, Emonyang wanted a middle-aged man to protect Su Fong. The man was Zhui Ming. Although he looked like a worker in the Heavenly Fragrance Market, he was actually a powerful existence. The 2 of them drove a carriage and left the Heavenly Fragrance Market with the excuse of going out to gather goods. The Heavenly Fragrance Market was located at the edge of the Zhao Imperial City and was 5 miles away from 8 Treasure City. After leaving the Imperial City, Su Fong followed Zhui Ming. They passed through a few small cities and gradually entered a mountain range. After hiding the carriage, the 2 of them directly rushed into the depths of the mountain range. Half a day later, they were almost 100 miles away from the Zhao Imperial City. In a large forest, Zhui Ming said, "This forest is not bad. Although people often pass by, it doesn't get in the way." Su Fong thanked him. "Thank you, brother Zhui Ming. Since we're all working for Soulless, your strength will undoubtedly increase as a whole. Don't worry about cultivating. I'll set up an ambush around 5 miles away." After saying that, Zhui Ming disappeared into the forest like a flash of light. After arriving at an open space, he prepared pills and fire snake fruits for his tribulation. He sat down cross-legged and circulated the 100 acupoints finger art to stimulate his physical strength. He combined it with the 9 yang true qi to stimulate his body. Immediately, Su Fong communicated with Xian Huang. When I'm going through my tribulation, use your demonic qi to cover me. Zhui Ming might be secretly sizing me up. Don't let him see my true strength. Master, don't worry. With Xian Huang here, that transcendent realm expert won't be able to see anything. Xian Huang was very confident. Su Fang sent his consciousness into the pagoda. Dao Wuliang, when I reach the Dharma Cave realm, you have to teach me how to set up formations. Dao Wuliang was absent-minded. It seemed that being locked up in the pagoda was too depressing. You're so capable now. Do you still need my help? There's a question I've always forgotten to ask you. What's your cultivation? The realms of the demon race aren't as detailed as the humans. However, there are a few major realms that are the same. For example, the Golden Core realm. I'm now at the stage of condensing the Golden Core. What realm is that? Transcending the Dharma Cave realm, Transcendent realm, and several other realms. It's almost close to the Heavenly Union realm. I don't know about the Heavenly Union realm, but I know that the Golden Core realm is something that all cultivators pursue. What's the cultivation of the Heaven Sex Sage Emperor? The Heaven Sex Sage Emperor's cultivation is below the Heavenly Union realm. It seems that he's about to break through to the Golden Core realm. However, the Heaven Sex Sage Emperor can't see through him. I'm stronger than him, but I can't see through his cultivation. This person can be the overlord of Zhao country. He must have something extraordinary. He's not a simple human. After Dao Wuliang finished speaking, Su Fang had a rough idea of the Heaven Sex Sage Emperor's strength. Dao Wuliang snorted again. You have to be careful. There are many transcendent realm experts in Zhao country, and many of them have passed the transcendent realm. Some of the cultivators you've met recently were transcendent realm experts. Yes, it was much smaller than its original size. Then, with a buzz, it actually shot into Su Fang's right arm. Gone. Magic treasure. This is the most obvious difference between magic treasures and magic treasures. Magic treasures cannot be absorbed into the body no matter what, but magic treasures are different. When magic treasures are refined, magic powers are injected into them. Once the magic seals inside are activated, the spirit snake blade can be shrunk to an inconspicuous size and absorbed into a certain meridian in the body. Now, Su Fang hid the spirit snake blade in the muscle layer of his right arm. He did not absorb it into the magic treasure spirit meridian. Magic treasures are not in an empty bag, but under the skin and flesh. Automatic activation is even more unpredictable to the enemy, and there is no time to react. Magic treasures can be activated from different parts of the body, silently killing at any time. When the Xinhuang Six Paths Pagoda drilled into his right arm, magic treasures and magic treasures were almost the same. Su Fang secretly said, Xinhuang, with my current magic power, can I activate you? Xinhuang quickly denied, absolutely not. My original body needs a terrifying magic power to activate. With master's level, it is already a miracle that you can activate a part of the low-grade magic treasure's power. Yes, I am too impatient. Haste makes waste. In the future, if I encounter a strong enemy that I can't deal with, I will rely on you to deal with it. Master, among low-grade magic treasures, there are also differences in strength. The materials injected by the refiner, the temperature of the refiner, and the magic powers used are different, causing the same magic treasure to have a world of difference. This spirit snake blade is considered average among low-grade magic treasures. It is a little better than trash magic treasures. Is that so? Su Fang was stunned. So, there are such secrets in magic treasures that are rarely known. He increased his consciousness by a lot and easily infused it into the Six Paths Pagoda. He also sensed Dao Wuliang. During this period of time, have you thought about whether you will be loyal to me or continue to play tricks with me? Dao Wuliang really couldn't take it anymore. I am really afraid of you, but I am an existence that has condensed an aurous core. Even the Zhao country, I'm a top expert. Why would I become a follower of a Dharma insight cultivator? The Fox clan is the king of the demon race. How can I swallow this insult? Actually, you don't have to be my mount. I need to face difficulties and find a way to defeat strong enemies. You are a peerless, big goblin. I naturally need to borrow your strength. As long as you help me achieve my wish of avenging my father and finding my family's magic treasure, I will return your freedom. I don't have a choice, but you still need to be ruthless and think of ways to achieve your goals.